Hey, good afternoon, good evening, right? I even forgot my own opening here. It's been one of those days, Gary. Um, yeah, listen, welcome to Arsenal Fan Circle. Pull up a chair. You're all welcome here, even the sad, lonely ones who are very, very disappointed between Christmas and New Year's to get a result like that. Those of you who had time off and spent your available holiday time watching Arsenal, I was one of those, Gary. I do apologize. Arsenal should apologize. Arsenal should send you something in the post, in the mail, because that was dreadful, dreadful performance. And look, I'm usually one of the more optimistic ones here, Gary, but I can't find much optimism from that result, that performance. People are saying we had chances. I don't think we created clear-cut chances. I don't think West Ham allowed us to create clear-cut chances. And if we got those chances, we definitely didn't take them.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. We'll see how many people we get. People are probably a little down. I think having so many football games across so many days makes it a little, a challenge when they're all, when they're all on the same day like they usually would be. Boxing Day would have been fine. I don't know why we had to push ours out, but yeah, no. This is one of those games where everything we say about it pre-game going into it, basically all of it came to fruition. All of it, all the negative things that could have happened in a game that you worry about would happen. And as much as I want to say our defense is really good, they need to be really good based on where we are right now. So yeah, it was, and we took a lot of shots. We had a lot of good chances. Some pretty much clear-cut chances where you expect to score. I think we had enough to score one goal, if not two. Maybe even three.
Yeah.
But and I think the reason why the goals didn't get scored in most of the cases, I think, is because we took our time to take the shot. A lot of the shots, I believe a lot of the shots were blocked.
Yep.
Like we took 30 shots, 10 of them were blocked. I mean,
10 of them blocked, and then we had a goalkeeper, probably their man in the match, the goalkeeper, Ariel.
No. Any goalkeeper would have looked like him today. So I would say no, not even it wasn't like the shots where, wow, he was standing on his head doing all these craziness, stopping. No, that anybody could have caught any of those shots. It's almost as if we were trying to score, not I'm going to score. You know what I mean? Like there was no they had no heat on them. We didn't put our laces on the ball.
We didn't stretch
They
them.
just aimlessly bounced to the goalkeeper.
Yep.
I mean, there was no visceral behind the shot. Like it's not going to sting the goalkeeper's hands. I say it all the time. We need the goalkeeper to go, ouch, that one hurt. No, barely any of that. And when we did put that in, we hit the post.
Yep.
So
we didn't stress them, Gary. We didn't stretch them. We didn't stress them. And especially I always feel when we're playing in that second half, when we play in the second half and we are playing into that side of the stadium, I always feel like we play a notch more in the second half. We build the pressure up like a pressure cooker. We recycle the ball. We were doing all of that, but our passing was horrible today. A lot of the passing was really, really off, and the conditions were not an excuse for that. I think there was a lot. There's an inquest into the two sides of the house. The right side of our attack, Xhaka and Odegaard. There's too much ticky-tacky going on in there for me, and there's something going on the left-hand side where Martinelli is not getting Uh, he's either A, not getting the opportunities he got last season, or B, not putting those chances away. You know, uh, 2 goals for Martinelli, even after a couple of injuries earlier in the season, is not good enough. It's not going to get done. Gabriel Jesus can fight all day long and wrestle with defenders, central defenders, but he's not getting it done either. And Odegaard's been asked to do something different, whereas last season Odegaard was supplying a lot of goals for us. Listen, I said it could be a lonely Thursday night for him this evening. Think David Banner and the Incredible Hulk hitchhiking with that incredibly sad music as well. It's not jingle bells, Gary, but it's alarm bells for me. Alarm bells are going off. I was willing to give this thing some time, but here we are halfway through the season, and we're not firing on all cylinders.
Very much true. And let me say hello. We'll say hello to the people who just joined us. Yeah.
Yep.
He lost coins today. He
We
bet
lost
a lot.
coins.
He bet a lot. I bet a lot.
Everybody lost coins today.
Mhm.
Nobody went for West Ham.
Yes, Riddy's in the house as well. Welcome.
Greetings, Riddy. Absolute shambles today.
That's the word right there. Toothless.
Toothless.
Toothless. We were a pussycat when we needed to be a lion. You know what I mean? Like a little kitten when we needed to be a ferocious animal in the box.
Yeah.
I mean, I sent you guys. I sent you a message with. We had 77 touches in the 18, not in the exact third, in the 18.
Mm-hmm.
18. 77 times we had a ball at our feet and we tapped it.
Ticky-tacky.
77. I get they had at some point 7 and 8 players in front of the ball, but if you don't even try, it's not going to happen.
Yeah,
it's not. We didn't we tried to walk the ball in with that defensive scheme. It's not going to work. You cannot wait for them to get settled. You have to, and I talk about it all the time. One touch football, please. We can't have 1 and 2 and 3 touches before we take a shot consistently. We have to not wait for let them get into position.
Yeah. We saw Man City yesterday. They go a goal down at Everton. Everyone's like, this something could happen there, but then somebody takes the onus on themselves to have a shot in Foden. And look,
And where did he take that shot from?
Outside the box.
So at some point, if they're going to crowd it like that, you can't just continue. You have to take the shots before they get into position. And that means a lot of times you're going to take that shot before you get in the 18. Right. But not even that, but sometimes if you hit it early enough, they won't be in position to block it all the time.
Yeah.
You won't have to try to, navigate the ball around defenders and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. I mean, Arteta's, this is, it's not on him why we miss, but he needs to get these guys to be better at their job, which is to shoot the ball.
I think I'm going to apportion equal blame, not necessarily on this game, but the lead up to this game and things like that. But we'll get into it. You might be surprised by some of the things. I think you might already know some of the things I'm going to say, Gary. So Mr. Tom demands an investigation into the Arsenal performance. Yeah. All of us demand an investigation into that performance.
See, all the haters are like, this is what you're going to get. And most of the people that are playing football, I think people that legitimately look at it, objectively will go, this is something we've seen all season and expected it to get better at some point.
Yes.
We're 19 games in now, and we're still trying to figure out if we can put some balls in the net.
Yep. After 10 games, you know who you are. After 19 games, you definitely know who you are. And after 10 games, I thought we were a competitive team. Maybe we're still a competitive team, but halfway point, 40 points at the halfway point. We've got to go a little bit more than 40 in the second half. We have to, you know, make up for some of these points that we've lost. And look, 90 points is not going to win the league for anyone this season, but it's going to be in the high 80s. And we can't turn in another report card that says 40 points for the second half of the season. That's just not going to get it done. You know what I mean? Rudy said, Man City are a different gravy, Ray. They won't lose at home against this West Ham side. Neither will Liverpool. And these are the two teams that we're supposed to step to now, Gary. You know, City and Liverpool is the final step to get up to.
Yeah, I mean, you're supposed to build on what you did the previous season, right?
Yes.
I mean, you're supposed to get better, and we are getting worse. And where we were, we needed to get better in our scoring. We needed to get.
Yeah.
I think we needed to just have depth in defense. I don't
Let's
think the
let's just
defense hasn't dipped, but the offense has dipped, and we need to have gotten better. Our players are getting older and getting worse.
yeah.
And we're
Yeah.
not talking about somebody
We're
28 turning 30. We're talking about people
23.
going 20 and getting into
Yeah.
their middle
Yeah.
teens where they're going to be at prime.
Today was a shit show. Spineless outing from BX
Mm-hmm.
Gunner. Listen, Gary, where do we apportion the difference between last season and this season?
I think Arteta really shouldn't have. He had too many changes going on.
Yeah.
And I said this going into the season, like based on the way we're playing, it's totally different than what we played last season. Everybody said, yeah, things are going to change. We
Mhm.
barely got we barely figured out how to play last season playing that particular way. This season we're playing totally different. I think it's a little bit more, as they say, controlled. And so
Yeah.
when you're more controlled, you're more conservative, and we're seeing it in our play, right? So we're more conservative. We aren't hitting the attack. We're not attacking the defense with as much aggression as we have played, in the past. So
Yeah.
defenses are able to just sit back even more now. Like last season, I would like to believe that if we had intercepted a ball at midfield, we would be on them going in for an attack,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yep.
Like we would be pressing them. They wouldn't be able to get out of their defensive third.
So
And we're not doing some of those things that get us the ball faster with positioning and able to attack players, like with space. How often do we see like Saka, how often does he actually get a run at a defense? Whereas like you see that a lot of times with Martinelli,
yeah.
where he'll get the ball and there's nobody there. They have to come out from the box to get to him, and he's able to get into the box easily.
Yeah.
Saka, there's always somebody right there. So I don't know. So I think we're it's harder for us to score, and we're not playing the averages, right? When you get an interception and you're going to counter, we're pulling up all the time. I've seen it too many times. I'm sitting there doing a watch along. We're coming down the pitch, and then we just slow down. Like let the defense get into position. No, we have to we have to get to the space before they do.
Mhm.
Um,
Gary, the barometer between last season and this season, I'm gonna hone in on one player, and I'm not criticizing him. I just think he's been put in a bad situation. Zinchenko. Last season, it looked better because we were more progressive going forward. He was in midfield a lot more. This season, we've got that control going on, but do we really have that control because he's the weak link
we are
that a
having
lot of teams?
control. The control helps our defense out more.
Yeah.
Teams aren't able to break us down. I mean, they had 6 shots today.
Yeah.
1 shot on target in the first, 2 shots on target in the second. We had as many shots on target as they had shots total. So we're controlling the game. They're not getting much, but when they get something, we're getting punished every time. Every time we get punished.
Doesn't he look?
That's not good odds. That you
Yeah.
give a team 1 or 2 chances to score on you, and they score 90% of the time.
Yeah.
That can't be. That's something not right about your
Those are
scheme.
not good odds. Yeah. Those
Like
are
like
not good. control odds, right? I think head should roll, said Tom, except for Eddie's, of course.
Eddie's
Uh,
he may not be the reason why we're having problems, but he is a reason why we're in this
yeah.
situation.
Look, we got to give flowers to West Ham. They
Oh
did
yeah,
play well. They
you know
played
what?
well, Gary.
I
They
said
came and did what they needed to do, right?
I said going into this game that Bowen just reminds me of McGinn. Like those
I
types
like
of
Bowen.
players, there's the types of players that they play 110% and they put
Yeah,
pressure on you. And obviously they did on the first goal, right? I mean, he's the one that puts the ball in,
yep.
that gets the shot,
They
and and
you see 105 million. Sorry, Gary. You need to see 105 million spent and given to other teams like that team a few years ago with Bale, and they didn't spend very well. But West Ham have
yeah,
distributed that 105 very well.
I tell you sometimes the coaching comes out. So no matter how, because they play to their strengths in the game that going against an Arsenal team that they knew could punish them.
Mm-hmm.
We should have known, and we have known for a very long time how teams are going to play us. This is not new.
Yeah, it's not new. Exactly.
So we've been talking about this since like what the second, third game of the season. Teams are going to play in this low block.
Mm.
We need to find a way to break it down.
Yeah,
We have the talent. We have talented players to be able to do that.
we do. We do. We
So
just
so so whatever he's telling them, either they're not doing it, and he's allowing them to do whatever they want, and it's not working, or he's telling them to do the wrong thing.
hmm.
Right?
I think we're getting to the places where we can score goals, but as you said before on one of your podcasts, we are not finishing our dinner
Yeah.
at all.
Well, if you watch the game, how many of the shots that we took today did you go?
Good
That's
chance.
probably that's one that we should score on.
Yeah, the Saka header in the first half,
You
the
know,
Saka shot that comes off the upright in the first
yeah,
half,
yeah,
Gabriel Jesus in the second half. There's a header on the back post.
yeah,
He scores against Brighton. I know it's difficult. I know it's a difficult chance coming at you,
yeah,
Gabriel Jesus, but
yeah,
you miss it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Trossard late in the second half, about 73rd minute, gets through, has a shot. Goalkeeper saves it, but you really should be putting. Those are really good chances that you should be putting away. Maybe Martinelli had a shot or two as well, a couple wide.
He had one shot based on the stats, so he didn't have a
Yeah.
good day at all in terms of he had one shot off target based on this. Um, Jesus had one shot on target, two off target, and Saka had three shots on target, one off. So we had at least
Looks.
5 to 6 good chances from our
Yeah.
forwards.
Yeah.
Um,
We
one to
probably had better chances today than we had against Aston Villa away from home a few weeks ago. You know,
yeah,
really said Jesus is not clinical enough. We still may have lost, but Ivan Toney scores that header. I agree. Ivan Toney's going to boost your chances. Jared Bowen has more goals than Saka, Martinelli, and Jesus combined. It's not just Eddie. I like Jared Bowen, but we're never going to be able to afford him now. He was 80 million last season. What is he worth to them now? He's a player who can play off the right, but he played through the middle for them now because Kudos has stepped forward also.
so why like yeah, so they're creating a Bowen and they've created a Rice. Martinelli is supposed to be in that kind of area and he's not.
Mm-hmm.
Odegaard is supposed to be in that range and he's not. The only one that's there is Saka. Jesus isn't in that range. He's not going for 80, right? Like the only player that's going for 80 right now
Jesus,
is Saka, right?
Saka, Martinelli, maybe.
Saka. No, Martinelli is less based on the value of him, I believe.
I think Martinelli would go for 80 in this market.
And if that's the case, then that turns it into a management and coaching issue. If you're telling me Martinelli is worth 80 and he's worth as much as Bowen, then you're telling me that he's either not being coached well or used well.
He's
which
not
is
taking the chances when he's getting into positions and he's not taking those
well,
chances.
when if he's not taking them, then why is I guess I always have
That's
to ask
on
that
the
question is
player.
why is he not taking that shot?
Yeah,
Is it like for me sometimes it's like is
he's
he
low in
be
confidence.
is he well that for me once again comes from the management and the coaching. Your players have to feel confident out there when they're doing what you're asking them to do, and part of that should be to take the damn shot.
I don't know. Yeah, I think you get your confidence on the field, and that
You
has to come to you. We've been waiting for this to happen, but it's not happened all season. I
yeah,
don't believe. I know. Listen, you could say we take Martinelli out of the limelight and bring another player in. We
yeah.
can say that. That's the only way you can maybe give him some confidence by taking him out of the firing line a little bit. You
Well, and
know.
that's where I talk about some rotation is warranted,
I
and
also
and that's why you brought up a Foden. I don't know if Foden has started every game for them this year.
no.
So for me, that is because you have maybe yes they have better players, but I think you need to have some sort of rotation as well, so that players aren't just stuck in the mud trying to get out of it, trying to get this confidence and form back that you want on the pitch, affecting everybody else,
Yep.
right?
Let me get caught up here because some people in the chat, and I'm going to try to stay current with the chat here tonight, Gary. Brady said West Ham had a clear game plan set out, and they have just provided the latest blueprint on playing
This is
us.
the same
It's
blueprint
out
we
there.
saw from every team that plays in the first 10 games. It's
Moss,
nothing
welcome.
new.
Welcome, Moss. Devastated that we can dominate a Moy side that much and lose. And look,
Mhm.
I was angry at full time. I was like, do I even want to do a podcast tonight? But sometimes, Gary, it does help to talk about it. Odegaard set up so many easy chances for Saka, Jesus, Truss, and more. Unbelievable. Yet I was a little bit annoyed with Odegaard and his constant
You know how many
shimmying.
times he lost to, you know how many times he lost the ball? I don't
Everybody lost the ball, but he
No, no,
lost
no,
the ball
but
a lot.
no, but I don't like. Okay, everybody loses the ball. I get it in this game. Everybody, he
Well,
can't be the one to be, for me, headlighting losses of balls in a game when you're trying to win. When you're trying to just score, like he has to be a little bit more cleaner with the ball at his feet. I mean, everybody passed to the team in blue. You
yeah.
weren't in blue today, all right?
Horrible. Zinchenko was in midfield today. I thought I have my notes here. Were we playing a back three? I thought we were playing a back three for a lot of
Well,
it.
it's the same movement, right? On the ball, we
Well, I
broke our
thought
guys.
Gabriel was further over to the left
It didn't. I didn't. I can't say
and
I looked at
Rice.
it that well to
I
see.
saw Rice dropping in there as well into the
Let
center
me.
back
He's
position as well.
35. Let's see.
Uh, we had look at the heat map. You'll see Gabriel more in the left back position as well than his customary left center back.
24.
We had 30 shots, 8 on target. Big up Moss. Bargov's in the house. Big up Bargov. Hope everybody had a great Christmas. Let's not forget lose sight of our fellow Gooners out there. Hope you all had a great Christmas. And we want to finish this year. We have a game on the 31st on Sunday against Fulham. And boy, do we have to win that game. And we have to stay involved in the FA Cup on the 7th of January. And then we sign off for a couple of weeks. Do not bin off the FA Cup against Liverpool. This team has to come back and show what it's all about. If it's got anything left, it's got to face this Liverpool side and beat them in the FA Cup. Liverpool do have the Carabao Cup, so their fixtures are going to get heavy if they remain in the competition. Brady said it after Brentford away that Trossard at 8 is not effective tonight. Again, showed that. I suppose we can go there in a little bit, Gary. We'll talk about that
You
choice.
see, there's a effective, and then what is that? Well, when I say ineffective,
Not effective, ineffective, right?
no, no, I know, but like we had 30 shots today, so it wasn't
Yeah.
because of the shooting. They only took 6 shots today, so it can't be the defense. So I don't think, like I've said before, I don't think putting whoever we put in that 8 position is affecting us, whether we're trying to score, whether we're defending. We're doing what we need to do with whoever plays in that 8.
How bad was the loss? Is this the worst? This may be worse. This is a worse loss
This
than
for the
Villa.
season. For the season,
This was our. We've
I
only
don't
had 3 losses.
no, but I
One
mean like
lose at
as far as
home.
how we played. This is yeah. I think in the other two games we had a chance, right? This one we did not have a
Yeah,
chance.
at the Newcastle game, we didn't create anything, so we had a chance to get a 0-0
So
at
so
Newcastle.
obviously it's something else going on, and it's not like tactics or whatever. Because in one game we barely shoot, in the other game we shoot a lot. We can't
This
cross the
is
line.
this is no longer an anomaly. I was willing to check off some of these games as an anomaly at Aston Villa. We played well. The performance was great. We just didn't score. I thought that was going to be once off this season. Here we are against West Ham. We had numerous chances and we didn't take any of them. If we score in the first half and level it up, it's a different game, you know. But this felt like, to me, this felt like a Southampton game last season, you know, or a Bournemouth game last season. We go 2-0 down, you know. So Bargaff, it was a pretty bad loss. And if you want to watch it back, I wouldn't advise spending 2 hours watching it back because you'll be really, really irritated. Stephen O'Toole, good to see you here, Stephen. That team are not connected. They are losers. This is, until we do it, this is what we're going to be called. This is, you know, we're going to be called bottlers. Anything you want to say will be legitimate. You know, the haters will hate, Gary. Nice ones. I bet Molina got soaked in our first loss. It was wet there.
Yeah, they showed it before the game. And it's like, wow, that's gonna
Yeah.
suck.
All I saw was Tottenham losing, Arsenal losing. Yeah, but look, nobody cares about Tottenham. Nobody cares about that team because they're not going to make. The headline is Arsenal failed to go back to the top of the league again. You know, you better not be saying Odegaard was bad, Bargoff, because he was all over the place and setting players up left and right. No shooting boots today is a beach. Is a biatch.
You know what? I'm the reason why everybody's at fault here, no matter who you want to call. Somebody needed to step up. It's one of the things we've been saying. Like, Odegaard is our leader. He's got the armband. At some point, he needs to get us across the line. He took one shot today when we needed to score. I get he's setting people up, but at some point you're just gonna have to do it yourself. At some point you're gonna have to be KDB and you're gonna have to just take the shot. I mean, he's one of our best, I think, set piece takers, or taking balls off a set piece. And today we had a short one, and he let Reece Nelson take it, and I'm like, that's got to be you taking that one. The game's on the line. We're trying to get back into it. Reece Nelson, how often does he get to play? You take that. You take that, man.
That's something I want to get into with you as well. You know, so if you haven't seen Ray and Gary go at it a little bit, we might find a few areas where we differ in some things here. Gary, you going to the Champions League versus Porto? Bargov wants to know.
I am far away from that. If being in the US, no.
I was so busy at work that I hoped that I wasn't so busy at work that I could go to even this game, you know, over Christmas, be in Ireland, but that didn't happen.
I would love to go to a Champions League game, but
I am looking at March myself. I was looking at Porto.
Yeah, I think right now you can buy tickets right in the US to Porto, but I don't think it's a lot of money for me right now.
I'll be thinking about something around St. Patrick's Day or Easter, which falls in March.
So we have competition for, I think, Martinelli. We just don't use it. It's got to be
better than Martinelli.
Right.
Or
I don't understand how Trossard, who was like a 2020 player, a 10-10 player last season, we can't get similar out of him this season. I think, like as I said,
why?
He doesn't.
We're not putting him in the right position.
He doesn't
Gary.
play enough either. He's got half the minutes of Trossard, and Trossard did not get us 12 goal contributions last season in half a season. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah,
like, if you can't take a player what they did last season and build on it and get them to do the same thing, you're messing with the players
yeah.
and you're messing with the system that you have built because it's not getting better. It
We
just
got Stephen.
mm. Hello there.
Welcome,
So
Stephen.
everybody, yeah, Stephen,
Hope
Moss,
you all,
Kev.
yeah, listen, for everyone coming in, want to wish everybody, hopefully they had a great Christmas as well, you know.
Mm.
Uh, Ray, at least you're not a fake supporter and taking joy in our loss like Matt's fake ass. Who's Matt?
It's probably Matt from my show. Um, it would be on the Monday show. The Southern Gooner, I think is who he's talking about. But
Oh, okay.
yeah, he'll tell you that
Anders,
he saw this
welcome,
coming.
Anders.
So
Good to see you too, Anders. Hope you're well. Bargov, our players never show the same level of fitness as Cities does, despite them playing more minutes and games.
this
Coaches
isn't a
need doing
fitness
themselves
thing.
better.
This is not a fitness thing. You
We're
take
halfway through the
you,
season.
you take in 30 shots. There's no way I can understand if you're not even getting in a position to shoot. You're taking 30.
That's pretty good, Tom. What does a clam do on his birthday? He celebrates. I understand it is just past your birthday now. You were a certain age yesterday.
He can drive now.
That's scary, Mr. Tom, in a little a mini or a Fiat or a Morris. I don't know.
It's just
I see Henri saying what Moss is too. Like getting the FN cameras in everywhere proper, like NFL. Please, Premier League, get cameras. Ball was. I don't believe the ball was out. I'm not going to go there.
the logic will tell you that the ball was out because at the point where you can see the ball, it's right on the line.
Yeah,
And the only way you can't see it is because the player is standing right on
it's
the
covered.
edge. But there's
Yeah,
actually a video, there's actually a frame that shows the gap.
yeah. Oh,
There's
ooh.
actually, my understanding is there's a frame that actually shows it. But if you move it one frame over, it's off, or you
Depends on
can't,
where
or
they're
you
freezing.
can't see it. So
Yeah.
I think the logic will tell you that the ball is out because of where it was before. It seems like you can't see it again. You can't see it anymore. But the fact that later on in the same game they were able to call a ball out, able to call it out,
Hmm.
it makes me wonder what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
BX said we're not taking any chances. We're not clinical. That's the problem for sure. Stephen,
The call isn't the problem. I
no.
mean, a lot of the defense in front of that whole situation uh, it should be in question as well. Raya, like people are going to claim Raya should have done better protecting the ball from coming right back into the box at that point. But that's like for me after so many different things that happened in front of it. I mean, I think it was a bad pass that started this whole thing, and then
The hell was
just
Gabrielle doing
so
with
I
that
think
clearance?
so.
Zinchenko's right beside Gabrielle
Mm,
as Gabrielle's trying to clear it. I think he
yeah,
clears it against Zinchenko's body
mm.
and it comes back out to Bowen, you know?
No, the way that I thought the cross from Bowen back into the box.
Paqueta.
Uh,
Then the cross came from Paqueta and
mm,
Bowen was there.
I thought Bowen's the one that put the ball back in for
No.
the.
Yeah, he did.
No,
But the initial ball Paqueta puts in, Bowen tries to get it on the near post. It bounces up to another player, and Gabriel somehow kicks it, clears it against Zinchenko. It comes back to the byline, whether it goes in or out. Now we're debating. And Bowen puts it back in.
yeah.
Even then, one of the
There,
West Ham players misses the ball,
there was
and
like I said,
Suchek is there.
there was a lot of defensive issues
Horrible,
before
horrible.
before it even gets to the point where Raya has an opportunity to, if he moves towards the ball, he creates a less of an angle for it to get back into his box. And then if he does come and they're able to squeeze the ball past, we're complaining at him anyway. So he's in no man's land at that point.
Mm-hmm.
He should expect that he's got defenders that are going to man mark players coming into the box, and that didn't happen either. Suchek is there coming into the box unmarked.
We have a visitor. Tony Turner's joined us. Welcome, Tony.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey there.
Um, Steven said, didn't see the game, but watched some highlights. I'd call them lowlights. And I had a good talk with some friends. We need to get used to this kind of result as we don't have the players to make this ball control style work. Then I say tweak our style a little bit and move the ball faster.
We've been asking for him to be a little bit more flexible in everything that he does.
Mm-hmm.
When do you see him being flexible?
This would be very critical time to start to
This
be
would be the first
flexible.
time if he does it.
Yeah.
I know what he was in a past life. He was a government mule. He's that stubborn, right? He just he just
Not only a
refuses to
mule, but
change.
a government mule, Tony. That's double
Yeah,
stubborn. You know what I mean?
double stubborn.
Moss said he was out. The ball was out in these matches. There are lots of money. Spend the money, especially when backroom VR are making decisions.
That's the problem. They
It's
have
slow to
to,
change.
yeah. If you can put, you should be able. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, something
But
change.
the Premier League's too slow to implement these things. It'll
I
be
know
here
that
in about 3 years, Moss.
you heard it up into last year. They're gonna look into VAR and the officiating, and nothing changed.
Yeah. Well, look, that's not the reason why we lost this game. As Gary says, we need to overcome.
Ooh,
We need to overcome the officials in many occasions and score
well,
2 goals of our own.
well,
You know.
well, we need to learn to put the ball in the back of the net. 30
True.
shots. 30
Yeah.
shots. No, no goals.
Horrible, Tony. Horrible.
I
And
could do that. I could do that balancing on one leg and kicking with that leg.
yeah,
I can
VX,
get one of them in there.
VX said we look stale for too many periods, lack of creativity and some individual brilliance. And I think we have Zinchenko, who is horribly poor and low on confidence, just being one of the players that is really, really making a lot of mistakes out there. Somebody said you took Zinchenko off, we put an attacker on, and we actually looked better going forward. You know, I think there's some indecision between Zinchenko and Gabriel. We've seen that for the Liverpool game. I don't know if they're communicating very well in that left side
And
of our defense.
it's from Zinchenko leaves the spot. Nobody goes back there.
He
And what's
doesn't leave
happening?
his spot. It's the way we play. Stop saying that.
Yeah,
He
but
needs a
then
spot.
No,
we need.
no, we switched to a three at the back in the attack. That's the way we play. We've been playing that all the time, Tony. It's not something new.
But when he comes back in, Gary, he creates confusion. Zinchenko creates the confusion.
That's the way Arteta wants to play.
Yeah, and look, it's debatable if we would have
When
had
we played with when we
Tomiyasu.
played with Timber, did you say any of this?
No,
It's the way
because he
we
wasn't
play.
there.
Well, that's the point. Is like you've got a player who's not able to do everything he can, and Arteta, does he adjust to it? No, he doesn't. He never
Zinchenko.
adjusts. He never adjusts to the players that he has.
Yeah,
The only thing he does is change the scheme. He doesn't
Yeah.
go, well, you know what? I've got a couple of players. This is how they're going to work in this scheme.
I'll
Guess
tell you what.
They don't, and I don't think. Like I said again, 6 shots. They took 6. We had 5
Well,
shots on
I know.
target. You cannot tell me that it's a defensive issue.
Moss is handing out another excuse, and that's fair, and that's your opinion.
It's been
Um,
excusable all season. All 3. The only
I-
player on that list
He
that's
says it
actually
can't
playing.
happen anymore, and I
Right.
agree.
The only player, no, Saka
Against
is
Villa, it couldn't happen
Saka.
anymore.
Saka is 1 goal difference from where he was last season.
Yeah.
You can't blame him. He is actually consistent with what he did last season. Jesus, Martinelli, Odegaard, I think, are off more. And that's where the problem is. Saka's doing exactly. He had 6 goals, 6 assists last season. He has 5 goals, 6 assists right now. You can't blame him. And he's. I want more out of him. I do.
Mm.
But he isn't the reason why. You know.
Well, we don't have a
Ah,
striker.
hold on,
Gary.
hold
That's
on.
my problem. No striker.
Nketiah is still our top goal scorer, joint
Along
with
with
Saka.
Saka, yes,
Yeah.
and that's a big issue right there. When your second striker is
First
tied for
striker,
the
Gary.
when your
Jesus.
no, stop it,
Jesus is not a
stop it,
striker.
whatever you want to
Jesus
call it. When your
is not a
second
Second
when
top goal scorer.
when you're
Right.
when Eddie's your second, who's tied for lead in
Yeah.
goals,
Yeah.
you got a problem.
It seems that way, and when it's only 5, halfway through the season, and it's only 5, that's a problem also. We should
Yeah.
be at 7 or 8 for
No,
halfway
no,
through the
but he's on
season.
target for what he did last season. He had a really good season. So
Who?
to say Saka,
Who is Haka?
yeah, he was one. He
I
had a
have the
really good
stats
season.
here.
So no, I
He had
just looked at
20.
this
He had 25 goal involvements last season.
at
He's got
this point in the
11.
season. At this point
He's
in the
got
season.
11.
At
11.
this point in the season,
11.
why would he only have 11?
5
Right?
goals and 6
Yeah,
assists.
but why would he only have 11 goal contributions?
I don't know. It's
Because
just
people
for,
aren't clinical.
yeah.
So obviously his numbers are going to be lower. But I'm
Yeah.
telling you, his stats are the same as what he did, or just are eerily similar to what he
Or
did last
similar.
year.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
only off by 1 goal.
Yeah.
Everybody
It's the
else,
others. He's not the issue per se. It's
yeah,
the others,
we
Gary.
complain about him because he is our best player in the attack, and we want somebody to stand out. Like
Yeah.
he should be closer to like 10-10, based on where we are today, because we need somebody to do
Well,
that.
right now, Liverpool
It's all
are
tactics.
relying on Salah, and Liverpool are winning. They're not going to complain about Salah, but when they're not winning, they will complain about Salah, irrespective of what the other players are doing in that team.
What's funny, Ray, this time of year, because you're finishing off on Zinchenko. Me and you were talking at that point. To us, he
I
was
still have the banner.
good play. He was a good play. He was a good player every year at that point. It's crazy.
I
It's all tactics.
but
It's
Tony,
tactics.
the thing is here, Zinchenko is a good player. They're all
He,
good
he
players. He's
he's
just
a
not putting them.
midfielder.
He's
He's a
just not putting
midfielder.
them in a position to excel, right?
Yep.
So
Then that
something's got to
puts
give.
Gabrielle on island over and over and over again.
Yeah, exactly. And Gabriel is a good defender, and Alonso goes after him because Zinchenko hangs Gabriel out to dry sometimes. Marinelli is no better than San Maximin at this point. No end product. Yeah. Did you see the amazing pass he set up? So many, Gary. And Odegaard's shot was right in the corner, and the keeper made an amazing save. So this is about Martin Odegaard.
I'm just telling you, he late in that game, he turned the ball over so many times.
Yeah.
And as I keep saying, he needs to be better because we need him to be better. Somebody needs to step up. And if it's not
Arteta
him,
has
then who
to.
is it? Then who is it?
Yeah.
Like at some point, he needs to take that shot. He doesn't take it. You said it. He took one shot. He can't just be taking one shot when we get 30 and we're not, and we haven't scored after 60 minutes. At some point, he
You know
has
what?
to stand up and take the damn shot.
The
That's
whole
what
problem as
somebody
well.
needs to take. Somebody needs to lead this team.
He's so left foot dominant as well. Take
It
a shot
doesn't
when you're
matter.
right.
Who cares what foot? Take the damn shot. He
The
gets more than
defenders know if they stop him on his left.
so he can't. He shouldn't shoot. Then is what you're saying. At
No, I'm
some
just
point,
saying,
you have to take the shot before they can. Before they
Tony. What
defend
am I trying to say here with the left foot and right foot? You know what I mean?
You make an excuse for him why he's not taking. He only took one shot in the game. Just
I'm
one.
not making excuses. I'm saying defenders know he's heavily left footed, and if you stop him on his left foot,
that stops every player. So if you know this player is heavily like
Odegaard's refused. He refused a right foot shot in the
it's
previous
on him
games.
then, right? So it's on
Uh,
him not to take that shot. We've
Correct.
seen him take the 5, so it's on him to do better and to take that shot.
Where does the injection of excitement come from with Arteta? What's he going to do? You know, I'm going to be critical of Arteta here, and
But
we
what you said, what's killing us is the lack of speed. I mean, it's
yes
like a snail just ting ting ting
transition.
ting ting ting. You have
Yeah,
74% possession, 30 shots, you lose 2-0.
we need to let teams come at us a bit more. There seems like an urgency about us that we don't. We have a whole game. We have a whole 90 minutes, 100 minutes to win a game. We feel like we have to win a game in the first 10 minutes. And
Can you
that's an
imagine
issue.
if we had any other manager right now? Right?
Huh?
Can you imagine if we had any other manager for some reason Arteta's
I don't know
untouchable?
what that looks like, Tony, but
I have no doubt they would utilize the players in the ways that you're talking about. Like people were saying, Moises set up his team to play a certain way, and they
Yeah,
did.
but
They were
but
disciplined in what they were doing. and he
But
did a
Ray,
good job at it. Like we've been talking about this since game 1, 2 this season. Teams are going to play a low block on us. We have to find an answer. 17 games later, we're still saying the exact same thing. We need to find a way to compete against a low block. Like
I
the
don't
like
believe it's because we didn't have Havertz in the lineup either. It can't be the answer that we're missing Havertz. We don't win this game. You
we
know what I
can't be
mean?
missing one player every time. We're missing
Yeah.
Partey. Does anybody miss him? No, we're missing
Mhm.
Timber. Does anybody miss him? We do, but not in a game where you dominate like this. Like what more
But
do you want out of a game?
for all of that, though, I will say a Partey, coming back could help us as well.
No, but
but but Ray, what's the
Mhm.
good? He's gonna be there for 1 week, then he's off to AFCON. Like,
Well,
that's
there's
not
no
even
point of
that's
using
not
him.
really the point though. The point is that what he does to the game when he's on the pitch, he'll be better. Like we can't get through the middle of that pitch
he breaks
without
the
him.
game
He's
open.
the only one that will take it on the half turn
Yeah.
through the middle of the defense. He's
Uh,
fine. He's happy to have two defenders on both sides of him as he
should
cuts
a
through.
should a should a 110 million pound guy be able to do that?
Obviously, that's not his role.
We
It's
wasted
not his position.
we
You're
wasted
asking him.
Declan Rice tonight.
No, no, you're. He's worth the money, but he is not gonna cut the lines like a Partey is. So is that bad? I don't
I
think
w-
so.
I would have liked to have seen Declan Rice in that left eight tonight. And for me, bring Jorginho in. I talked about it before the game. Not Emil Smith Rowe and Trossard, which a lot of the fan base were talking about. Jorginho in the lineup. Jorginho at 6 would allow us to pass the ball better. Declan Rice getting into the box would have been more beneficial. I saw Declan Rice play mostly in our own half. This whole game. You know, I didn't see Declan Rice. We had one shot. I didn't see him pushing forward too much. Saka and Martinelli should have competition and should be switched on the wing occasionally. Look at Liverpool; they've got players they can plug and play, and we need to get to that point where we
It's,
start to plug and play some
it's
players.
all the way they're coached. It's like, this is what we're gonna do. We've seen it in the fucking documentary. He's like, this is what we're gonna do. I
But
can change players in and out,
I
but
can
this is
tell
what
you,
we're gonna do.
you bring Saka off, Reece Nelson can play there. Reece Nelson can play. Gabriel Jesus can play. Mikel Arteta is not comfortable with switching his front wingers too much, you know. And you look at
He's afraid to give him any creativity. There's no creativity or speed in the team the way he.
switch it up with some other individuals. Look, I think Reece Nelson had a tricky game when he came on, but he's not being given the minutes. These players have not been given the minutes to excel. Kivior should have been coming into this month. Gary, we talked about this. Zinchenko going to Anfield. Why didn't Kivior get a book of minutes leading up to that game? We knew what was going to happen at Anfield, right? We knew the matchups that was going to come. Why hasn't Kivior been given that exposure in the team, been given the minutes? We're hanging on to Zinchenko, who's lost his confidence on the field.
Arteta is just not. Like I said, I've been calling for it all the time. Can we have some rotation with our players? And then because when you do lean on them, it's too late.
Yeah.
Like in this game, we needed to lean on Reece Nelson. He has been available. Like he has not been hurt for most of this season. Like Emil Smith Rowe, who's finally coming back. As soon as Emil Smith Rowe gets healthy and coming back, now we're seeing Reece Nelson. Are you kidding me? Like Reece Nelson should already have more minutes than Emil Smith Rowe. Guess what? He doesn't.
Hmm.
How is that?
Well, he
Crazy.
should be he should be getting 20 to 30
Crazy.
minutes, not
We
5 minutes or
we
2
had
minutes.
we had 9 players on the bench, and 5 of them were candidates to come on: Kivior, Jorginho, Emil Smith Rowe, Nelson, and Nketiah. I
And when
don't
did he
think
bring? And when did he bring them on?
Kivior didn't get on. And look,
He brought in
yeah,
3 players, and the first one didn't come on until 64 minutes, and we're down 2.
yeah, we're already down, 2 at that point in time. Um,
You're not giving these players enough time. Like you're not using your squad.
mhm.
Like at halftime, was anything going to change? No, it wasn't. Nothing at halftime was going to change.
But
Did it change? No, we saw the
look,
exact same thing we saw in the first half.
Look over at Liverpool. They bring a player, Kwanzaa comes in, an unknown player comes in. Okay, it's away at Burnley, but still a tricky game for them. They ride out some difficult moments and win the game 2-0 in the end.
We struggle
Um,
against everybody, so we're not even getting it. Like they're doing this against Burnley, like you said. We're struggling against a lot of teams that we shouldn't.
yeah. Stephen said our attacking players are playing too much with their backs to the goal, trying to protect the ball. The shots we are getting for the most part are just half chances. That's
Yeah.
true. If you have control of the game, you're gonna face a low block and you're gonna face players that you have to back into with your back to the goal.
If the goalkeeper wanted to show us up, he would have just caught some of those balls with one hand. That's
Yeah.
how poor I think they were in terms of did they even have an opportunity. So
Saka and Martinelli do well in the opposite wings. Arteta needs to mix it up
mm,
and bring. You need to show something different. But I will say we have 2 games left, and I'm a bit leery about changing things right now. When we come back in January, for sure, let's see something different. Wait, was it Tom's actual birthday? Yes, it was. It's his birthday still in American time for another 2.5 hours. Maybe Tony, he's a little bit younger still at Tony's local time. Um,
Three,
well,
3.5 hours here, 8:30
yeah,
in one day.
what I said 2 years. Why does Mikel Arteta, well, all the instructions during the game tell Saka and Martinelli to switch sides, sometimes mess up the defense, find good matchups. Doesn't happen very much. This team was built with speed and great ball progression, players at the back, and we are not using that anymore. We are walking the ball up the pitch and running right into well set up defenses.
and that's when I said like I was looking at Odegaard did it, and the reason why I bring him up is because he think he needs to be better. But as he said, we are on the attack. We're moving up the pitch, and all of a sudden we just pull up and slow down and wait for the other guy to catch up. No, he's got to get there. At some point, your teammates have to get there with you. You have the ball. You should be slower than them. They should be fighting to get to that spot, and they're not. And
Mhm.
so we wait for somebody to catch up. And guess what? By the time you've done that, the defense is solid and set up. It's it's not it's not a good way to. And we're not playing to score. I say it all the time. We look like we're just out there just getting some miles in. You know.
Um, Tony, look, I said to Gary, I don't know exactly where Gary is on this, but I said I wanted Jorginho to play in the number 6 and let Rice play in that left 8 position. Where would you what would you have done in midfield, Tony?
I thought we bought Rice to be the 6. Isn't that why we got him, right?
Yeah, we bought him to be 6, but have we solved the left 8 position satisfactorily?
I think you do have the answer. He's playing left back. He's
Hmm.
playing the wrong position.
Interesting. Yeah.
Because he goes and attacks.
Who's gonna play our left back?
Kivior, I would throw
It
it at
doesn't
Kivior.
matter. Or you could just go to a back
No, it
3.
does matter because that's what he wants to play.
With availability now, you're only looking at Kivior. Other
And
than
maybe,
that, it would be a Tomiyasu
and
or
maybe
a
that's the
Timber.
reason we just don't have the depth, right?
Yeah. And we do wonder what's going to happen in January now. Will this speed up the thought process for a striker or a defender? What do you want to do here? Do you want to do something in your fullback position, or do you want to go and get a striker who will finish,
I'm
chances?
just, I'm just surprised how many people just keep saying we need a defensive midfielder. It's like, we've got him.
It's all because we're gonna find ourselves wondering why we don't have the depth we want.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that's the reason why. I mean, we
We're an
need
injury
our
away, 105 million injury away from looking
our
for.
attacking answer was Havertz. This go
Mm,
around. That's what it
yeah,
is, right?
yeah.
So he has to work out. They put a lot of investment into him. It has to work out.
But why?
That's why I was getting so upset with the yellow cards he was getting. Is because
Mm,
he can't be having his best games, and that equates to, well, he's going to get a yellow.
Mm.
You know, that's what it looked. That's exactly what happened. He was playing his best football, getting in the heads of the other players. That requires us. That means he's going to get a
Ran
yellow.
into Emmy Martinez. We loved it at the time, but
No, I didn't.
yellow.
I didn't like it because I just thought that's like a player being reckless,
Yeah, but he
and
gets a
that
yellow card at Anfield when he's jostling with Endo.
you get
He
these
doesn't need to
stupid.
do
You
that.
get these stupid yellows at some point.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
he's getting extra. He's doing extra when he doesn't need to, and it comes back to haunt you, right?
true,
You end up getting a
100%.
yellow at something like Saka got a yellow today. Like Reece Nelson got a yellow in his first tackle today. What's that all about, right?
Yeah,
And then Saka's on the ground how many times because of tackles?
yeah.
Not one of those players got a yellow, if I recall. So, you know,
But Gary,
we gotta know how to play a certain way because
are we?
we're not getting the calls. So
But
we got to
Gary,
play.
if Havertz was the forward or the forward acquisition, the attacking acquisition this summer, why are we playing him in the left eight? Is that his best
I said
position?
attacking. I didn't say it had to be up
Yeah,
top. It sounds like they want to attack. They want to use him as an attacking mid, right?
yeah, yeah.
So I that's the answer to the lack of attacking prowess. And maybe they thought Middlesbrough Rowe, and also they would have thought that Reece Nelson, for me, based on their actions, was the answer, right? You don't bring back a Reece Nelson if you don't think he's going to support you in your attack.
Yeah, no,
You
for
know.
sure.
So
BX said Raya trying to control his box must sound like Alvin and the Chipmunks singing Christmas songs. The defense must not understand the word he is saying. Look, Moss, listen, I'm optimistic like most of you, most other optimistic gunners out there. But yeah, beat Fulham, but we'll have spent another game more than Liverpool. And they do have a tough game on New Year's Day with Newcastle come to Anfield. But
all that doesn't matter if we don't win.
it doesn't
It,
matter. Beat Fulham.
is that a tough game, right? Because Newcastle is not looking good.
Newcastle are coming into a 3-game run. If you check out Newcastle's fixtures, I think they play Liverpool, Man City, and Aston Villa in the next 3.
Yeah, and
And Eddie,
if you told West Ham that they were going to be playing these big games all in a row, if you told Aston Villa they were going to play in these big games in a row, how are you going to play City and Arsenal back to back? Villa did all right. So
yeah,
I just feel like the way that the season is set up, like you're going to play these 3 games in a row. One of them they're going to be able to get something out of it, right?
mhm.
We'll see which one it is, right? It
And
could be the
it
next
won't be
one.
us. They they beat us already, so we
No, but
need
I
them
mean,
to
what
have one.
like you say in the next stretch of games for Newcastle, right? I'm
Yes,
saying in those ones they're gonna find it. Like we haven't played. Uh, I guess maybe we have, but I didn't feel we played like 3 tough games in a row. Like we haven't played City and Liverpool and
no,
Newcastle
no,
or that team in a row. You know,
they
like
have.
some teams have. So
I thought this stretch of Aston Villa, Brighton, and Liverpool was a tough one, and we got 4 points only out of those 3 games. Add
mm.
this defeat in, we got only 4 points from
So we didn't
12.
learn anything from the Liverpool match because I would like to think if we played against the way we played, like I understand it's a different style, but we played a better team and we were able to get a draw out of it. We played a worse team. We needed to. You have to like I don't know. It just can't be a low block is the reason why we can't do anything.
No.
You need to figure
Um,
that out.
Look, we're gonna have to regroup, and thankfully, and there's people complaining that Arsenal had 5 days to prepare for this. Well, the Premier League doesn't allow you that grace. Whether it's 5 days to prepare, Liverpool had 3 days to prepare for their game, and now Liverpool
And
have another 5 days.
that's prep. So for me, that's preparation. We should have come in here knowing exactly what to expect and know understanding how to break it down. Like at some point, you have to take advantage of those days because if you're not, then you're wasting your players' times.
But when you're in that position as a forward, when Saka's in that position, he's got to score. When Gabriel Jesus and Trossard are in those positions, they have to
If you
score as
looked at
well.
the season and going into it, what would you have said was some of the issues we had? Being clinical in front of goal, right?
No, because coming off of last season, you wouldn't have thought that.
If
We look clinical,
going
right?
into this game,
If you
Well,
you're
that's
listen
why I
prepared.
to
said into
You
this
have
if you
season.
listen to me and
5
Gary
days.
last season,
No, not even that. You have 5 days to prepare, like you said.
Yeah.
What are the things that you would need to work on to be better at going into this game? Being clinical as one of them.
Mm.
The being disciplined and focused on defense was another one because we seem to always lose a little lack of focus on the defensive side and give easy goals away,
Well,
right?
when you don't score, when you do
Yeah.
not score and take your chances, you're vulnerable to anything
So you have
happening.
to build that into the way you coach your team. Like we
Yeah.
need to be clinical and goal. How is that? Like we need to be able to break down low blocks. Don't you work on that in practice? Like you
Yeah.
had 5 days to work on
And that's
this.
probably why Trossard was in the team, that he could
But
be
did we
able
look
to.
like a team that was expecting a low block today, the way we played?
Uh, I think so. Yeah.
Did we work like a team that was going to be clinical, that worked on being clinical with the ball in the box?
I all I can say is we got into
Did
positions
we
where
look like a team who was more clinical because they worked on that
we
in
looked like
practice?
that team, yes, but we
We look
failed.
we look like that.
We
We
had
scored
5 chances.
this many goals today. Like how many
You
goals
said
did you score?
yourself
How
we
many
had
goals did you
five or
score
six
today?
chances.
How many goals did you score today?
0.
How many goals did Arsenal score today?
They scored 2. We didn't.
How many goals did Arsenal score today?
0.
The same as you.
Yeah. Same as West
Yeah.
Ham.
Yeah.
Um,
No, not the same. West Ham scored 2 goals today. They
yes,
kicked the ball and they headed the ball in for goals today.
correct.
We
Um,
had multiple chances to header it, didn't do it. Multiple chances to kick it, didn't do it.
we didn't do it. What's the point of Zinchenko right now? His strength is his medium to long range passing, yet we don't use it anymore. What is the point of ball progressing defenders? We don't use them properly. I think we kind of covered that a little bit. Um,
If he plays, we have to score 2 goals
he
at the least.
basically
He
he
doesn't help us
basically
do
was
that.
like he was basically standing out there like a guy who nobody would pass it to. He felt like a sore thumb. He wasn't being useful. His passing was horrendous, and he's been getting in the way of people recently. At Anfield, he was in the way of Odegaard for that breakaway 4-on-1 that we luckily escaped, or else we'd be looking at another defeat on our books. Think back to West Ham away last season, April. We were knackered second half and gave up a 2-0 lead. Again, I don't think it's tired. I don't think it's tiredness. Ramsdale would have been loud, that's for sure. And look, Arteta, if you don't want players in your squad, get them sold in January and get some money in the house that you can go and buy players you want. Because we're up against it a little bit on financial fair play. We can't do a whole lot as it is right now unless some players are moved on. You know,
Okay, so
this
here, remember I said that, you know what? I thought, you know, um, Martin didn't really have a good game in terms of what I saw.
Odegaard.
He had Odegaard. He had the most as far as accurate passes. He was one of the worst for us.
Mm-hmm.
Saka, Jesus, all in the 90%. He was in the mid 80s, right? He created some, not much. He created one shot created one big chance, right? He took 2 shots. Like I said, he had the most. Like as far as being clean with the ball, he was one of the worst. Um, Martinelli was worse than him, but Martinelli only passed the ball 29 times, so it's hard to give him a say. But as far as the high producing passes, he was the worst one. Even Zinchenko was in the 90 percentile. So like if you want to like say what you saw and what he did, Odegaard was not as clean with the ball as I would like him to be. I mean, Declan Rice was in the 90 percentile, right? Declan Rice had the most passes of everybody, and he was in the 93 percentile. I think he actually had the most passes, whether they were forward passes or what. He had the most.
Yeah. And look,
Trossard was also bad.
speaking of Declan Rice, we're lucky Declan Rice didn't have to face
Yeah.
a penalty scored that he had given away.
Yeah,
For
that whole left side was
3-0
worse, right?
Mhm.
The left side was worse for
Uh,
us. I mean, the whole right. Think about it. The right side, 95% everybody on the right hand side. On the left hand side, 70%.
wow. So, well, Gary, I mean, I mentioned that to you either in the green room before we started or when we did start this podcast. Too much going on the right hand side and um, not enough passing to the left from the right to the left. It's Odegaard, it's Xhaka continually, and Jesus and Martinelli are not getting involved in that party.
Mm.
You know, everyone loves to dump on Odegaard, but never Xhaka when his finishing has gone back to being weak. I mean, I think we've established Xhaka's numbers are comparable to last season. So
Yeah, that's why I can't really fault him as much. He's one goal less than he did last season. Everybody else is well off the mark, not even close. So he is playing bad because he is, as people say, our star boy, and he needs to be better, right? But
yeah,
he hasn't dipped as much as everybody else has. So he's playing close to what he did last season. But we need him to be better because you need somebody to pick up the slack, right?
I'm listening.
I just talk about what I see, whether or not that works, and I know a lot
Well,
of it doesn't actually.
Tom would replace Arteta with you on the sideline.
He's being facetious right now, and he's
Yeah, fishy fish.
yeah, I don't not even, you know what? Stop it.
We call it
But
fishy fish.
but can't we go back to that, Ray? On the sidelines, you have this
Gary on the sideline or Arteta?
the micromanager.
Mm.
I mean, was he quiet at Anfield?
We've never had the creativity with him. He wants them to do certain things, and for attackers and stuff, you need to be able to be creative. Correct?
Yeah,
Mm.
And as midfielders as well.
yeah. Do you think Bergkamp could fix our attacking prowess?
I think he could, because they think they would stop listening to Arteta. And if I told you you didn't have to listen to Arteta, but you can listen to Dennis Bergkamp, I think you would say, "I'll listen to Dennis Bergkamp."
It
I
doesn't. I mean, doesn't
I
always
thought
go like
I
that.
thought you were saying putting him on the pitch, Ray. I think he would help us.
No, but I think he would be able to tell people what they might be seeing. You
Yeah,
know,
well, I don't know if
think about think
Thierry
about
Henry did he improve Lukaku? You know what I mean? Did Thierry Henry improve Lukaku at international level rather than Roberto Martinez? It's debatable. You know what I mean?
if he's into this coaching thing and he's a coach, then yeah, I think it'll be all right. But I don't know.
Moss said, sign the brother of Timber secretly in January and play the twin. Go back three as Oz is playing midfield anyway, so play three and stack the midfield. Look, at the risk of giving Tony some flowers here, Tony's been talking about a back three forever. Forever and a day, Tony's been talking about a back three. Could it be any worse than what we're doing right now? Have
But the
Zinchenko be a
problem
wing back.
the problem is that on attack we play with a back two. There's just two guys back there. You
No,
got
on
somebody that
attack
difference.
is most usually
He's
you'll
talking
see
about Ben
It's
White
two,
what
going forward
Gary.
as well.
It's
Ben
two,
White is
Gary.
usually, like I saw multiple times. Ben White is the last one to move up. He might move up faster in some cases, but it does start with a three there, and then you'll see him rotate, and then you'll see him come up because both Zinchenko and Ben White are moving up the pitch. So if you look at the heat map, Ben White's a little further up than Zinchenko, not a lot. Not a lot, like based on the heat map. So they're both
Lenny.
coming up. So you know, it's not that it's not that big of a margin of distance that they move up the pitch. So it's not based on what I'm seeing here. So
And we have a wing back that's sitting back there that crosses very well. That's played once this season.
Look, here we go, Moss. We'd all like to see this. Partey, Rice, and Odegaard would be so solid. Maybe our season depends on Mr. 24.
well, no,
Back.
I think he makes a difference because we're missing something in the
Yeah.
middle of the pitch, and right now Rice is he can't. That's not what he brings to the table.
BX says Arteta has to take risks. He's gonna throw away the title yet again. Look,
Yeah.
there's pressure on Liverpool. No, maybe not as much as pressure on Arteta and Arsenal. You know,
hmm
we were here last season.
It's one
We
of those
were in
things
this.
where I look at it and it's like when we should have probably went out to get Basuma, we didn't go out and get him. Yes, there was a whole controversy on bringing him in, but it turned out
Yeah,
to be nothing. That would have
well,
been
Basuma
25 mil.
hasn't really lit the
Uh,
world on fire,
I
has
think it'd
he?
be better than Jorginho. So
Hasn't pulled up any trees, that Basuma. You think better than Jorginho?
I think so.
Hmm.
Because he's
Are
I
gonna
you
play.
mentioned it.
Because we'll probably play him a lot more.
are you
Jorginho, I
thinking
don't think.
physicality more than his ball playing
I think
skills?
we
You know what I mean?
need some of that, right?
Maybe. Yeah.
No, I mean I
It's
think
up.
we do. But
We need to identify what we need, whether it's midfield, striker, or a fullback.
I mentioned it multiple times, Ray. You need to
What?
watch out for Liverpool because they don't have international football.
They've got Europa.
The last time they were that far back, they finished
I don't know
eighth
who
in
said
second
no.
legs.
No, Liverpool is not part of this. At least when I've been on with you. Ray is a Liverpool. He's got Liverpool underwear, so it's not him.
That's not true. That's not true. I do like a good traditional club.
Liverpool was definitely. They had Salah. The way they finished off the season, all they had to do is continue what they were doing, and that's what they did.
Yeah.
So there's no surprise
Look,
that they are where they are, right?
yep.
I mean,
If,
anybody who's surprised wasn't watching, right?
I'm a little bit surprised. I know they've drawn a lot of games, but they've only lost that one controversial game at Tottenham where they
You have
really.
Salah playing the way he is, and I
Yeah,
say
but
that all the time.
they
It,
probably
it
should have lost a
it's,
couple of
it's
games.
the big difference, right? You
Yeah.
have Salah, right?
Look, I think Newcastle will come into Anfield with something to prove and play well. I wouldn't be surprised if Liverpool drop points on New Year's Day.
Yeah.
It's up to us to win 3 points at Fulham now.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like teams play up for us a lot because then you see them after they play us. You see them break down. Eventually, it's not. We put a lot of pressure on teams, and I think teams are happy to beat us and go out their
Yeah.
way to
I
beat
was
us. And then they struggle after they've played us. I mean, look at where Newcastle is after they beat
yeah,
us, right?
yeah. Aston Villa.
I mean, like the total meltdown for that team, right? And not, I get the injuries as well, but like the red cards they've been getting, right? Just
Yeah.
Aston
Villa too. They drew against Sheffield United and lost to United.
They play up for us, and we should know this. We should.
Rice.
The teams love to beat us, right?
Is it them playing up to us or just knowing what we're going to do?
Teams play up for us.
I think it's knowing what they need
You
to
think
do
we
to
play? You
stop
think
us.
we play? You think we play down to them?
We play predictable football, so it's easy
Combination.
for them
Yeah,
to.
they game plan. You know, they've game
And that's
plan.
on that. That's on Arteta.
We need Martinelli and Jesus and maybe Odegaard to start cranking some goals in to release the the players that are attacking Saka.
That's
They're
not going to
double
happen
teaming.
if they don't take the shots.
Yeah.
Like it shouldn't get to the point where Rice has to take a shot. So you know what I
No.
mean? Like
Sure.
you have Trossard and you have Erdogan in front of Rice. It should never come to the point where he actually is. It's where he should be taking a shot. For me,
Yeah. I know, and that's Rice trying to take the team on his shoulders again. Moss said, I noticed this as well. Rice was practically playing center back, so I think there was a mechanism there that we're allowing Zinchenko to go in the midfield in this game.
His heat chart tells you he played just in front of, just to the right of Saliba.
Who?
A little further up, Rice, just up into
Just
the right.
a little bit to the right. What about Gabriel Magalhaes? Was he more in a left back position than a central position on his heat map?
Unless as far as the heat match, he's all the way on the left, basically. Solidly red. Solidly red on both sides of the midline.
Yeah,
is where Margules was.
So he was basically filling in the back three.
He's definitely on that left. there's red marks all the way from the circle of the midline, all the
Yeah,
way to the touch line. So
yeah,
he was covering that space, no problem.
yeah.
So yeah, so
Look,
I just I think it's for me it's being clinical.
Moss.
The two goals that were happening is because we got one. The first one is because we got a little late, a little lazy, and
Yeah,
in the back there, and we
yep,
lost control of the ball, and that's how they were able to get the counter there. Because I think it was a bad pass that started
yeah.
that one. You have to be better on set pieces. We're still struggling to be like we needed to be. Our deep,
And
we, yeah.
with our height, how are we that poor at?
Well, it's
Look,
Zinchenko. So
look,
somebody, it's either Zinchenko or somebody not letting Mavropanos run into the
he
box the way he
it was
did.
a good run. He ran across the 6 yard box, and it was one of those things where he connected. It reminded me a little bit of that Southampton game where they scored after our comeback a little bit in the second half. If look, Moss said if I was Arteta, I would have thrown Rolls Royce Saliba up top, down 2-0. If only we had another 10 players of the quality of William Saliba, we
Well,
would
when
be
some of the
walking.
substitutions didn't make any sense, right? Because you take off Trossard, you bring on a Milsrif Rowe. You take off Nketiah, you bring on you take off Martinelli, you bring on Nketiah. The only move in terms of trying to get that goal back was Reece Nelson for Zinchenko. At some point, we needed to find another. I felt like we needed to. Like I don't know. It just seemed like we needed to be able to push up a little bit more, which for me meant somebody with a more attack mindedness need to be on the
Mm.
pitch. Um, I don't know. I just felt like we needed more. Like when we played that Southampton match, right? It seemed like we brought on like 4 attackers and didn't drop any. You know what I mean? It's what it felt like, and the way we played
Well,
looked like that as well.
the game state was
Say
we got
we're in a worse situation today. We're trying to score, right? That one, I think, we just we it's the same state for me. You're right.
fair. That's fair. Stephen, Ray switching players will not change things. It's the style. It doesn't work with the players we have. It's all down to our players not being able to do what they do best, moving the ball quickly. I tend to agree a little bit with that as well now. I think we need to look at the way we're building up 2 games. There's two ways, obviously, to do this. The one way is to keep on knocking and try to break that barn door down, which is what we did today. It didn't work. And then secondly, maybe you allow teams to come on to you a little bit more um, and try to hit them on the break. So it would have been interesting what would have happened if we'd have maintained. Because you saw 10 players going into a low block, 30 yards from their own goal. Jesus
Yeah,
should be
but
left 8. I don't know about this Jesus left 8. He's built for it. We won't look for him for goals, but running the midfield. I don't think Jesus can play the left 8. That's just me. Gary showing why he's the top pundit in the Arsenal
I don't
verse
know what I
across
did.
5 continents.
I don't know
Dude,
what I said for him to say that.
mine
I,
is Chile.
I
He's
think
just
elevated
I
Chile, and
think I
then
think a
you.
lot of people probably think I
he's
talk like
just throwing you
I don't
some
know.
flowers out there to see.
Thank you, Mr. Tom.
He's got a chuckle out of it right now. He's laughing his ass off right now.
why you take you're like you
I can
take
just see him go, ha,
no,
ha,
no,
ha,
you're
ha.
taking a lot of this in, aren't you? I don't like
Me.
it. Yes, you're having a little bit too much fun with it.
Look, I was not in a good mood earlier. My
No,
wife, my wife came to me and was like, "Really, don't, you know, you got to give a man 10 minutes."
watch it when you're watching it, and I just get quiet because I'm like,
Yeah.
once again, I'm like,
Hmm.
what am I watching here? And then you like, you see the fans leaving at 80 minutes. You're like, they have given up. Like I said, we had
To tell
we
you to calm down, Ray. They've disappointed you the last 15
No,
seasons.
Tony. The last thing you want to talk about is normal things and normal life things, because your Arsenal verse, Twitterverse, your Arsenal universe It's just caving in. You're looking at the permutations. The haters are going to hate. The banter's going to come your way. And Tom's right. Ray, I did do the evil laugh. But yeah, look, you're going through the permutations. That's 3 defeats already. Halfway through the season, 3 defeats. And look, we're only 2 points behind Liverpool. But we've slipped up to a point where Man City could draw a level on us because they have a game in hand as well. And it's just one of those things where we have to go again. We have 19 games to go. And I was looking at this earlier today before this game. I was breaking it into two blocks of 10. First 10, very manageable games, including this West Ham. Very manageable games where we could get in the high 20s for the first 10 games. But then look at that last 10. There's a lot of away games there that we need to have a bit of a lead. I'd like to have a 3 or 4 point lead on the second place team going into those final 10 games. Those final 10 games, right? Chelsea at home, Man City away, Luton at home, Brighton away, Aston Villa at home, Wolves away, Tottenham away, Bournemouth at home, Man United away, and Everton at home. There's 3 or 4 very difficult away fixtures there. Going to Old Trafford, going to White Hart Lane, going to the Etihad. Tricky. And going to Brighton as well.
Do you know what you do, Ray? You
What?
play 19. You play 19 teams away and home. It balances out. It doesn't matter when it happens.
I know, but I'm looking at the greater context of this, right? Is Arsenal sitting on 13 league titles, and Liverpool and United are in the 20s, low 20s. You'd like to see Arsenal stepping forward and grabbing a few more titles.
You know what, Ray?
In these few years,
you just need to get one. The next one, all right? So this is
Liverpool are sitting on one for 30 years.
We need to get the next one. That's all.
I know, but I want that this year, Gary.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that one. I'm with you on that.
Because you know what? We'll be bottle jobs. If we don't do it, we'll be bottle jobs again.
This is why people will say if that happens, and that's why Teddy has to go. And other people will say no, it's okay. I want what's best for Arsenal, and right now this isn't looking good. Football might be what Arteta wants, but if this is what he wants, it's terrible. Because you're taking some of the best attacking players that you've had at Arsenal in a very long time, and you're nullifying them. Somehow they don't look right.
Does anyone know who's next for yellow card suspension? It's Eva. Everything's gone now, right? Everything's wiped clean.
I thought you hit 20. Is it 20?
I think it's the halfway spot. So I don't. Rice is not close, but Ben White was sitting on 4, and I could tell a couple of areas in this game where Ben White really wanted to make that challenge, but he stopped himself from doing that. He couldn't do it. You know what I mean? Moss asked where Stan was. He's at a concert right now, so not able to be here. Spencer's in the house. 77 touches, can't score. Our striker is located on the box, and we can only score by chucking in crosses. It doesn't look good when you put it that way, but it's all facts right there. The players are 1,000% responsible for this loss. True.
I totally disagree.
You can't totally disagree because you can somewhat disagree. Like those surveys.
No, but I mean, for me, it's like, what are you telling me? Nobody's improving from in being clinical like that didn't start today, right?
He's hiding behind the cup.
No,
but what happened to
me or him?
But what happened to the through balls? Long balls.
It's triangle on your PlayStation. It's the triangle.
Right? But what I was going to say before Spencer came in, it's like last year, Arteta cost us the title. He bought a center back, refused to play the center back, that is worlds better than
Can we talk
Robbo.
about today, please? Because
If you well,
yesterday we can't
Are
fix
you
it anymore.
come on, Rick? Come on,
let's,
Gary. You've been
let's
talking
choose
about being clinical for 18
Tony.
months.
Yeah,
Tony,
but you brought up Kirio. What does that have to
there's
do with being
many
clinical?
there's many factors to why we didn't win the league last year. It could be injuries to Saliba and Tomiyasu. It could be we didn't keep Trossard in the forward line in April or May. It could be because we didn't introduce Kivior. There's a lot of factors there.
Kivior and not playing Jesus. I think just not playing Jesus, we would have won the league.
Like stay with Trossard. That's what you mean.
And
Stay with
and,
Trossard.
and if you did both, you would definitely won the
Look,
league.
So
here
based
we
on
are.
what you just said, Tony, then why haven't we been able to see Trossard play in that position that worked for us last season? You know what I mean? That's kind of like
Yeah.
my
Because he's not put there.
A
That's
false nine.
our problem.
False nine position. I think that's his best position in this team. I think it's Havertz's best position as well. I'd be in favor of reducing Jesus to the right wing and Eddie and Nketiah being
For me, it's
that
just
spot.
called rotation. You need to be able to bring in some new legs and something changed every
Yeah.
once in a while. Like, and then if you like, we see it strategically by Pep who'll move players around strategically in a game for whatever reason, right? So Bernardo Silva will play left back in a game or whatever, right?
Yeah.
For a game, and sometimes that's
What?
strategic, and sometimes it's just I need to keep my best players on the pitch. That's why I always feel like at some point, if Arteta is really the man he's supposed to be, he will take Saka and he'll just move him to a fullback position because the game state demands it. Like the game state demands it because guess what? Our fullbacks aren't as good as Saka,
Yeah.
the ones that we have available.
Yeah.
And
I think,
Saka will get up.
man,
Saka coming off the edge there.
I would be interested
Would be
if he would do that. Bukayo Saka, your left back, Gary, he'd play in the Zinchenko role. Put Zinchenko in the left 8 and play Trossard up front with Jesus and Martinelli. You know,
just
be interesting.
because I think it's just
Switch it up.
we have to be able to not, as Tony said, be predictable on what we do.
Yeah.
Like we play the same stuff. We know exactly what's going to happen. Saka is going to get the ball up on the right hand side. There will be 2, 3, 4 defenders out there, and nobody will come to him. Nobody. He can't split the defenders because there's nobody coming at that point. Like Jesus hasn't even got to the box or doesn't. They all just stand there. How many times did I watch today? The ball's out on the wing. There's 4 or 5 attackers in there, standing, walking around. Nobody. What I said, like none of them are making a run at the back line.
Yeah.
So a cross isn't going to do you any good. We saw how many crosses we saw go in there, and the ball's well ahead of our attackers because they never are running that way.
Yeah.
You know, by the time they've run after the pass is made, it's like too late.
Well, why don't you throw out the good crosser out there? You got Cedric. That's what he's good at.
Look, we have players in the team that can cross the ball.
Tony.
Apparently not.
Tony.
Arteta said he
use
was the
C
best
word?
crosser on the team.
You
Tony.
should never have used that C word, Tony. Shame on you.
Tony.
Here we are again, though. It's Liverpool followed by West Ham, and we're getting shades of.
It doesn't
last
matter.
year.
We need change. I don't care what the hell you do.
I say
This
change
guy's
it with your best players, not with some of your players that aren't as good, right?
We met really our best game was Brighton 3 games ago. We beat Brighton comprehensively, I believe, in the end, right? We got good vibes at Havertz scoring that goal. We went to Anfield, played well enough to get a draw. We rode our luck a little bit, but this game we did not turn up at all. And here we're looking at 4 points from the last 12 available.
We scored 5 goals. Sorry, 4 goals in the last 5 games.
Okay. The 1 for the draw against Liverpool, 2 for Brighton.
One just in the 4 games that we played. One
last
is the
5
draw.
games. Okay.
5 games in PSV is another one
Okay.
goal
Okay.
game. So just like we're not scoring, we scored more games in the Luton game than we did in the next 5.
Hmm.
And we've been in the mid high 20s on the
Been a
shots.
bad December.
Not
There's
gonna
no
lie.
way to. There's no way to. Sugarcoat this. You can't wrap it up like a Christmas present and put a bow on it and say this looks good. It's a big box of shit.
Yeah,
Losing 2 and drawing 1 out of 5. You know.
like I wrote you earlier, Ray, we pulled the
Yeah,
January and December.
I think
Was that
But we did
January,
well in
February?
January last season. You know, we
When we
drew
had them
against
all.
Newcastle. We drew against Newcastle 0-0, where teams were
Hey,
starting to figure us out.
Ray,
We beat that team and we beat United in January last year.
Ray.
Yep.
We beat our record for the second year in a row of being out of the cups the fastest.
We have an FA Cup game on January 7th. So, Fulham, going to Fulham traditionally has been a good fixture for us.
My lineup today, my lineup for today, I had Martinelli sitting, ESR in for Havertz, and Kyriel in for Zinchenko. So at some point we need to rotate our players around and
Yeah.
not. We always get forced into it
Ray,
and never like just do it because we need to be able to do that.
Yeah.
you remember the Gary that used to say we have to stick with the same lineup? What happened to that Gary?
I never said that.
Yeah, you did.
I never said that because I talked about rotation
I
for
don't
years.
think. Yeah. To be fair to Gary, and
I talked about rotation all the
I have to be
time.
fair.
And I said
Gary
we
didn't
don't.
really say that.
No,
Spencer said though, Arteta added an
we
extra
need.
striker.
The one thing I might have said is that we need to have our start. You need to know, like, okay, we're going into a big game. Everybody's healthy. Who plays? I should know what that 11 is.
On
Right?
form. I think Gary said the players that are
yeah.
on form should play.
And
That's what Gary said.
like if everything's equal, we know what our 11 is. Right now we don't because we don't have Timber, we don't have Partey, we don't have Tomiyasu.
There's
right?
real cases, like you said, Gary, on the left side. There's real cases for Zinchenko and Martinelli to be taken out of the limelight, taken out of the firing line. Spencer said Arteta added an extra striker and took off a left back. I mean, Havertz didn't play today. He makes the majority of the runs. So, yeah, we need to reconnect this left
and
side.
it can't be, and it can't always. Why is it always one player's responsibility to do one thing on the pitch? Like
What's the example? Give me an example.
We just talked about it. Havertz comes off. Havertz doesn't play, so we have nobody running, making runs. What are you talking about?
Well, he's that physical player. He's that hot, tall player.
Making a run has nothing to do with being physical. You tell me nobody can make a run at a back line on our team outside of Havertz?
He is pretty tall.
We've seen Trossard do it, and he's not as big and tall as a.
I think there was crosses going to that back post, but West Ham really dealt with a lot of that very well.
Yeah, but you have to have players in that situation as well. It didn't happen enough.
Spencer said, time to start Trossard over Martinelli. Martinelli's missing his finishing touch. My buddy said it best today. We were a touch too slow. Yeah, I would start Trossard and have Jesus inside of him so they could switch from wing to inside forward as well. I think Arteta's got to go home to his family and think about what he's going to do for Sunday because something's got to change.
He's on that change, Ray. Come on.
When you looked at this upcoming season, I was expecting the club to build on what we did last season. Instead, Arteta blew it up despite having improved the quality of the players. Arteta gets an F. Look, blowing it up means Partey's injured. It also means Xhaka has moved on to Germany.
No.
He didn't blow it up.
Partey playing right back is a blow up to me. Partey,
What is Granit Xhaka? You can't
Partey,
count on Granit Xhaka this season. He's gone to Germany.
Partey playing right back is a blow up situation for me. That,
Yeah.
that's just not.
You know
No,
what? I think he was trying to find that inverted right
Partey
back.
playing right back for me
Look,
was
he
a
had a
was
look
a,
at it. It didn't
it's
work.
a terrible decision.
It didn't work. Tomiyasu was that guy
We've not
in
seen him
the end.
since. He played a
But
game and
but
he played a game and a half at it or whatever it was, or
Yeah,
3.5 games, whatever it was, and
Tomiyasu.
we haven't
Look,
seen him play even close. He hasn't even got to those minutes yet
he looked
since.
good there. He looked good as
but
that inverted right
but
back.
how in the world, how the fuck your first 3 games you don't have Gabrielle starting? It's just
I told you it was the Saudi league involvement.
uh,
It was a
it's
transfer
it's not
window.
the Saudi league. It's the 4 teams
It
owned by
was
the.
he was taken out of the team for that reason.
Yeah, I
Make
mean, if it cost us, it may have cost us in the Fulham match, but it didn't cost us.
yeah.
We won. We won
He,
two out
did
of
he
three.
come? I think we brought a midfielder on. We didn't bring Gabriel on in that game. We brought a midfielder in, and that was probably the mistake for the Fulham game. Now we actually need to show Fulham, some not necessarily respect, but some revenge on Sunday because they took 2 points away from us at the Emirates, and we've got to go there and get 3. Spence said making runs comes down to football intelligence. Players have to know when to make the runs, and some just don't have that intelligence. Fair enough.
I think that's something you have to get coached to do. I don't think it's all just about straight intelligence. I mean, I like to think we've got some smart players on our team. So I
It
think they,
all it all comes
I
back
believe they
to
can get
what are they
coached.
told to do?
I
What is
believe
it?
they need to get
What is the
coached.
plan?
I believe they need to get coached to do it.
Yeah.
Because
Spence
like I said, I
said,
can't believe Havertz is not that fast.
show Fulham no quarter.
Mhm.
No quarter asked, no quarter given.
Mm.
Havertz is not that fast, exactly. Tony, if you want to hit 90 points, you can only drop 24 points. We dropped 17. So it's a long way to go to get to 90 points. I don't think any team's really going to make 90 points, but we can't drop too many points in the second half of this season.
Nope, and we're going to because that's when we struggle because we don't change.
Do you think, okay, let's get on record here. Do you think we'll get more than 40 points in the second half of the season?
No,
I think we have to. I think we will get more than 40 points the second half of the season. When you look at 10 games that are pretty reasonable, that's 30 points right there. And you need another 10 from the last 8 or 9 games or more.
Oh, it starts with Fulham, right? That should be
So
3 points. Crystal Palace should be
I
3
think we
points.
can get more than 40, guys.
Forest should be 3 points, right? Liverpool at home.
Draw at worst.
West Ham away. We're gonna have to return the favor there. Burnley, that's 5.
Mm-hmm.
Newcastle at home. That's got to be a win. That's 6.
Yeah.
Sheffield United away. 7. Brentford home. 8.
Wait.
Chelsea home should be 9. Right? Chelsea home
Yeah.
should be 9, and then
Yeah.
we start getting a little bit of tough. City away, probably not.
Probably not.
Luton Town at home, that should be 10.
Yeah.
Brighton away. It's a tough one. Villa at home, we need to return the favor.
Mm-hmm.
That should be 11. Wolves away should be 12. That team away, it might be tough.
Yeah.
Bournemouth, that's 13. Manchester United away, I'm gonna say that might be a hard one. And then Everton. So we've got, based on what I just said there,
15 wins.
14 wins straight. 14 wins.
42 points right there, plus a few.
Do you know what that is? That's down on paper. What we did the last what did we do the last 2 years, right? We bottled it. We bottled it.
Oh, but
twice in 2 years ago. And
you're making no sense to me. You just said we're not going to get 40 points, and I just showed you how we can.
Yeah.
Did any of those games that I brought up where we can win? Did you say I don't think we can win those.
Yeah. Fulham away.
We've been
Alex,
there
one,
though. We
two,
haven't.
three,
No. The question was, what
four,
are those
five,
14
six,
games?
seven,
Which did you hear any names that stood
eight,
out to you and went, I don't think we can win that one?
nine.
Yeah, can you go back and look at the games of last season and look who
No,
beat
no, not
us,
going to go back
who
and
we
look
dropped points
because that's
to?
not the same team we're playing this year. Brighton doesn't look the
Listen,
same as they did last year.
it
Villa does
all.
not look the same. West Ham does not look the same. All these teams we're
Yeah,
playing, none of them look the same. So to go back and look at them from last season means absolutely nothing.
yeah.
Means
It all
nothing. They're
remains.
all different.
It does remain to be seen
City,
moving
it does
forward.
not look the same as they did
But
last season. We don't know how they're going to recover or not. You know,
I think, for the record, we will get more than 40 points in the second half of the season. Tony does not. Tony's got us at something like sub 80 points, so 78, 77, something like that. Tony's got us at. Gary and I believe we can pick up the required amount of wins, a few draws here and there, and we'll get there to be competitive in the final week. So we're going to take this thing.
Well,
We need to take this thing to the last few weeks of the season.
when you're going up against these relegation teams, you're going to be setting up the same low block, bus, whatever
Sure.
that's why you
hell you
have
want
to
to
have
call
an
it.
answer for it, Tony. We've been
And
saying
And
we don't.
that
We're,
since week 2. So
we've been
basically,
saying it for a year and a half, Gary. We haven't been
and
clinical.
well,
let me tell you,
somebody needs to answer that call.
Gary, Tony, a couple of teams we are going to face in the run in, which we're happy we're not going to face now, would be Bournemouth at home. They're a good team. We don't face them till the third last game of the season. And Wolves away from home. They're like fifth last in the season. And we get to play Aston Villa just about sixth last as well. So um, let some of those teams cool off and do some damage to
So,
the
so
other
what?
teams.
So there's one answer here, Ray. What two players are you selling to buy Tony?
Right. Ramsdale to Newcastle
And
or
what?
Chelsea.
Yeah, I think
What
they're taking
Smith,
they're
And
taking.
Nketiah.
Smith
Yeah.
Rowe? We're not gonna sell it, kid. Yeah.
No, but we need a striker, so we sell them a strike. We give them our striker who Tony. It doesn't matter if he stays or
Ivan.
goes. Come on,
Ivan Tony. Yeah.
you bringing in an Ivan Tony, you give up we don't need two strikers if one of the one we're bringing in is Tony. Okay.
Matt says we need 8 signings, Hey, if we could get 8 good ones, that's great, but it's not gonna obviously not gonna happen in one window. It's gonna be tough.
Either.
BX
That's the thing. We've been stuck in this financial fair play for a year and a half now, and
Oh, Spencer says we sell Partey.
yeah.
that's what I was thinking
Yeah.
of. Partey, Smith Rowe.
We have some what do you call some fat that we could trim.
We have more than enough players we can sell because, like you said, we
Yeah.
can sell Ramsdale, we can sell Nketiah, we can sell Partey, we can
Partey.
sell Emil Smith-Rowe, we can sell
Yeah. People
Nelson.
won't like to hear the Emil Smith Rowe one, but
We don't play them. The man's got 100 minutes played right now, maybe 120 at this point.
I know.
What are you keeping players around for? You're not playing them. We went through this whole thing, and I remember, I don't know if I saw an article or something like that with Maitland-Niles, right? We kept him around, didn't sell him, and then we just let him walk.
Yeah.
That
Could have got
right
20
there
million.
should be, you should get punished for
Yeah.
that as
Yeah.
a manager in charge of player
We did get
transfers.
punished. That's why we're in this financial
No,
fair
I mean
play.
somebody needs to get punished, not the
Well,
team.
BX had 44, 45. There's 57 points available. So left. There's 57 points on the table left. And we're gonna have to get high 40s to be in this thing at the end of the day.
Yeah. We've got more. Like we definitely have enough players to sell to make up for Tony.
Yeah. Honestly, have to give West Ham some credit. Of course, played excellent defense on us today. The bright spot is the Raya penalty save. Look, I was thinking 3-0. It matters a little bit in the end. It's the sheen, right? That we keep it at 2. But our goals against have been pretty good this season, and to lose 2 today was bad indeed. I will pack his bags. And Jerry, let's go through the team very quickly, and then we'll get out of here. David Raya, Gary, what are your thoughts on David Raya?
I was sitting on the watch along with him when that goal went in, and I just look at the breakdown in the defense all around. I don't know what he's supposed to do at that point. He could have, like, I think he had his hands out. It was just Bowen is a really good player.
Mm,
So if we can, if
I
we're gonna
like
give
him.
We're gonna give Westfield some credit, the cross that he puts back into the box is from a good player, right? So I that was the one. I think the header. I'm not sure.
There's no way he
You know,
could get to the header.
yeah,
No
I
way he
don't
could come for it either.
know. But
So
like I always say, as a goalkeeper, you're gonna have to make one of those saves. Like you're gonna have to make that save, right? The save
make
where
that
you go,
says, yeah.
that might keep the game close. That might keep the
Yeah.
game. He hasn't done that enough in games where we struggled. Like even in games where we struggled, I still want to see him make that particular stop.
Oh, Moss is saying Saliba would make a good emergency striker in that situation. Tony, David Raya, good save for the penalty.
Yeah.
People say
What
the
good?
penalty was poor, but you don't expect your goalkeeper to save penalties, and he stepped up there in that situation. Um,
It's
Sinchenko,
one of a few good things we've done.
uh, yeah, definitely. Moving on to Zinchenko. Horrible, horrible game for Zinchenko in a game where many of our players were misplacing passes. We looked horrible out there. We didn't look on it at all. Zinchenko is looking really bad by his own play, but also looking like there's no plan for him anymore. Um,
But but there's nothing that's changed on the left side besides you took Grant and Xhaka out of there. There got to be one of these guys you put in the eighth that helps Zinchenko because
so do
he
you
likes to
think
kind
do you think this season is different for Zinchenko because of Xhaka?
I think it's because he doesn't have anybody to partner with on that side.
Okay, he's got players. He's got Martinelli. He's got Havertz. He's got Trossard.
Martinelli doesn't come back near as much as he used to.
Okay, Gary, do you think there's something in that? Zinchenko's missing maybe a Partey or a Xhaka to have that cohesiveness with.
I don't know, I don't know. I just think when he is
He's
starting
making a lot
for
of
us,
mistakes.
when he's starting for us, the only thing I need to see is goals and assists come out of that. The reason
Yeah,
why he's on his pitch when we don't score, he's one
his
of the
ledger,
reasons why. Because I just don't think I can. He's not his defensive play. So for
his
me,
ledger, his ledger is looking bad, Gary. Right now, the credit and debit ledger is looking bad for
mhm.
Zinchenko. He doesn't
So,
give us. He
so
doesn't
like
give
I,
us as much as he takes. You know what I mean?
so like I said, look at where we had him last year. Right, we had him right up there as the team player of the year this time of
Yeah.
the year.
I think that left side is still missing something. We talked about this before, even 2 seasons ago. Martinelli probably had his best season with Granit Xhaka beside him. Controversial last season. Who knows? Ben White, Gary,
Uh,
poor. Another very very poor game. Uh, I'm not putting words in your mouth. I'm just like trying to
no,
give you some food for thought here.
no. I mean I
This
mean,
is what you think, Gary. He was poor.
Toe
yeah.
the party line, Gary.
I
Come on.
no. Reason why I don't have much to say about him. I didn't feel like I saw him make. I don't like I said. I don't even think I saw Zinchenko make that many bad plays today. Like White, like they stood out. Like nothing
Yeah.
stood out for me both today, which was quiet because we did have a lot of the ball.
He's ponderous.
We did
White was ponderous.
we did attack the mid. We did attack the box, right? So
He's smelling your food.
taking one of his probably many drugs that he takes. I mean,
Okay.
Heller, right?
so yeah. So I kind of felt like the fullbacks today. They didn't make any. They didn't make any plays, but they didn't for
Mm,
me fail. You know what
they
I
didn't
mean?
fail. Yeah.
But I need them to. I needed, for example, Zinchenko to do Ben White, a little bit more defensive. I expect once in a while he'll come into the box and make a play. I did see him do that with Xhaka. I mean, that side of the pitch was more fluid than anywhere else. Zinchenko, he's got to make that left side better. That's
Yeah,
why that's why he's out there. And
he's
when we
there.
and then when you say it just looked like we were kind of a little bit right sided today, that's on him because it starts with him, all right? It starts with
So
him.
much
So
So much Odegaard and Saka, ticky tacky.
but like
Right,
Zinchenko has to be that one on that side of the pitch. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like he's
Um,
been playing the most. Trossard, it's hard for me to feel like he's getting enough games to be fluid and be in form. And Martinelli, I think, is younger. So for me, Zinchenko has to be uh, that that base that everything works off, and he helps move that ball up the side there.
listen.
Uh,
I would have loved to have seen a fit Tomiyasu and seen how that would have played out with our
when
team,
Tomiyasu to me looks more
team
offensive
selection.
than Zinchenko, then I
Yeah, but
go,
I got no confidence to say that Tomiyasu would be playing this month if he was fit over Zinchenko. You know what I mean?
I think he would be playing every game
I'd
if he
like to
was
think
healthy.
you're right. I'd like to
He
think
was
so.
playing every game when he was healthy.
Gary, William Saliba. You know, if we had another 10 William Salibas, we'd walk this
I think
league.
the center back pairing for me, no, I don't think I have any problems with them
No.
as much. Like this is
Well,
kind of like as a whole, yeah. No, I mean there was like I said the one play that they get the goal with the VAR decision and all of that that had something to do with the center back pairing, one of the
I want
center
to know
backs there.
why Saliba was so far behind as well. I'm not
Yeah,
criticizing Saliba, but I'd like to know why he was so far. He was almost in a right back position when that goal
yeah.
happened. You know.
I think sometimes
That
our center backs creep up a little bit
Mm,
sometimes, so they can't get caught out when
yeah.
that
something bad
happens
happens,
quite a
like a
that
bad
happens
pass.
a that's why Gabrielle looks bad because you see Saliba and he's way drifted over there to the right for no
Yeah.
reason.
So
And
Tony,
yeah, you have Zinchenko gone and Gabrielle is sitting there. Same with Raya. It's like, what are we supposed to do?
he, he just looks bad, right? He's like that kid, the kid who's not being naughty at school, but because he has a friend who knows how to avoid being caught, he's the one who gets caught. You know. Uh,
It's like you have a V8 and you took out two of the spark plugs. It's kind of
yeah.
performed very well. You
Tony,
put it around.
your thoughts on Gabrielle and Saliba as a pairing, and talk about them tonight.
Uh, they're good. They should be there playing every game, except for cup games and stuff when it doesn't matter. But
There we go.
they're two brick shit houses, and only like to me was still the disappointing thing
What
is during all these games where we've been getting all these shots is we've been getting all these crosses. And you got all these big tall fellas and they're not doing their job.
does Gabriel Magalhaes start to look bad because of Zinchenko, or is he just making mistakes himself?
It's Sinchenko because there's nobody there.
Yeah, I get it. And
You gotta
Gary
void.
and Gary has said the heat map shows he's basically the left center back in a three and a back three, basically from the heat map. Spencer says the back three tactical change wasn't a bad shout by Arteta. I think with White, Saliba, and Gabriel, you could do this even in nil-nil games to get the goal. And the other day we put 3 to 4 goals in.
I mean, how many times we say this in every damn game? Why does it have to be every other game? And guess what? It's never that game.
It seems to be the confusion comes when Zinchenko is trying to slot back in.
But no, how many times are we going to play a game where we go on another day?
Another day, I know.
We would get
I
the
know.
3
I'm
goals.
I'm
Right.
beyond
I'm still
handing
waiting.
out
I'm still
apologies.
waiting
Ray,
for this other day. And the only
Ray,
time that ever happened where we got the 3 goals, and lately was Luton when we had to score 4.
Mhm.
last year we had Tierney and Tamiyasu.
And
Both
Zinchenko.
you,
And you know what?
both for the national countries
Hmm,
can play center back.
Yeah.
We could have played 3 and made up for Saliba being gone, or we could have played the guy.
Mhm.
But Arteta just sticks with this thing. Hey, like you didn't ask me about White, but to me, White's had a very, very poor season.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know. I was just looking at the replay of that goal, and I know you
Yes.
said Gabriel deflects the ball. If he doesn't deflect it, then they score by
No, but
by
doesn't he
two.
try to clear it? And
If he doesn't put a foot on it, right? He lets the ball go by, for example. West Ham player is there. Trossard lets Suchek run in unguarded, and that's why it happens. So the deflect.
yeah,
It looks like Gabriel actually made a good play, but he needed everybody else to
but
support him.
why was Zinchenko right beside him?
Zinchenko
You
was
know,
in the goal.
no. When you see Gabriel
I'm
clear that
watching, looking
ball,
at the replay right now. The pass has been made. It's deflected off of Gabriel, which
yeah,
would have gone to a West Ham player who was right
I
behind him.
think.
It deflects right into the path of
Yeah,
Suchek, who puts the ball away,
I'm
and
gonna
he's got
I'm
and he's
gonna
got
check it out myself.
and he has Trossard chasing him, following him into the penalty box. So,
Ray doesn't believe you, Gary.
no, Zinchenko's in the box. He's playing off the line, but the shot from Suchek is really good. He's not able to get there because the ball gets deflected by Gabriel, which is a good deflection. I have a feeling if he doesn't deflect it, then maybe Zinchenko is able to clear the ball off the line. But once he goes to Suchek, he's got a lot more space to deal with, and we miss it.
Yeah, and look, I know Trossard is 2 yards behind Zinchenko when
Suchek,
that
you mean?
happens. Suchenko, yeah, Sucheko,
Yeah, no, just making.
Suchenko.
Yeah. No. Like I
No, I
said,
agree.
no, I didn't realize. I knew there was a. I didn't realize there was a deflection. But if he doesn't deflect it, it's Kudus who scores, who takes
All
the
right, I'm
shot.
gonna watch it here. Okay,
Uh,
Well, Ray has to do a
I have
review.
to verify.
he doesn't believe me, but yeah, that
No,
one.
it's just like when you have your own perception.
And in the
Oh,
screen, I can see five red shirts and four blue shirts.
okay, but Gabriel tries to clear that, and it comes off Zinchenko.
No, the ball comes
Yeah.
off of his knee.
Mm,
It comes off of
all right.
Gabriel's knee, deflects past Kudus, who's coming in, and it goes to Suchek, who's coming. No, you're wrong. You're very wrong. You're so wrong.
Tony, you watching it?
I am not watching it. I'm on
I'll
my
send I'll
iPad.
send I'll send you it in the
I want to see.
in
I
our
only get this one angle where they
in the
look
group
like
chat.
they're together.
I'll put it in the group chat so you can
Okay.
take a look in the
All right. The
sorry
cross is coming in.
in Twitter, so you can take it. Look at it in Twitter. You'll see.
Yeah.
what I mean.
Okay. It comes off his knee, maybe. Yeah. And Zinchenko is there though. When Zinchenko doesn't need to be there.
Well, he's on the line. He's trying to clear the ball off the line.
Yeah.
He will clear the ball off the line, I believe, if the ball makes it to Kudus, because
Yeah.
Kudus wouldn't have much time to react to it, whereas Suchek has a lot of space and time to figure out where to go with that ball.
So Gabriel does not deal with that very well.
He deflects it from the player that's going to get there first. It just so happens that he doesn't have support behind him.
What do you expect him to do, Ray?
I expect him to put it into the crowd, Tony.
Not from that. He's got Rhea right in front of him. You're lucky he got to the ball. Look, he's got to look through Rhea to get to that ball.
Could have done better with that, I feel.
Oh, I think
You're sounding like Alonzo, Ray.
Yeah, that's really mean. I think that's a mean.
Timber and
analysis.
Tommy Esther, the versatile ones, and are so nice to have. I think we'll talk about this a little bit more when I see that picture. I agree, Ray. The switching.
Go look in Twitter right now. You have access.
Spots Trossard, Jesus, Martinelli, that left forward, center forward spots are not being predictable. Yeah, I'm going to go check it out now.
Tony can look at it as well. I mean, you'll see, unless he's on his phone. But
he's in a different group.
This is to our. Oh, he's not in that group because Tony doesn't.
He extricated himself from that group.
Too much nonsense, Ray.
Oh, is that what it was? Too much nonsense. I hear you like a lot of gifts still.
No, I
Tony,
don't.
Tony, you can see it now. Tony,
No.
But you're just showing me the ball on the line.
no, look at the players in their positioning right now.
That's 10 seconds later.
No, it isn't. That is actually a replay being made.
Gary,
The ball.
defend.
Look where the ball is right now. The ball is going right past Rhea, and Gabriel is going to deflect it from the oncoming defender. Sorry, attacker. I think that's Kudus
You
right
sent me
there.
the wrong one then.
No, I'm looking at it right now. I sent you the right one.
You showed me the one with the ball on the line.
No, the ball's passed. It's underneath Rhea's hand. What are you
Gary,
looking
Okay.
at? I sent you the right picture. I know what I sent.
Yeah,
you.
but I wanted a few frames back where
No, who cares about whether it's out of bounds? I don't care.
I'm
The
talking
ball
about Gabrielle. When the ball comes to
Gabriel is
Gabrielle,
behind Rhea. Look where
I'm talking about
Gabriel is. He's right behind Rhea.
Gary, tell Ray that my gifts are down by 90%. Come on.
Oh, they are.
well,
You
Tom
know what? You
Tom
said like
says you can get into a high production.
Ray. You're not
Yeah.
looking at that picture. The ball is right below Rhea.
Yeah,
and,
I see it now.
And
Yeah.
Gabriel is right behind him.
Yeah.
If he doesn't deflect the ball, right, it goes to the first offensive player in the box that you see.
I'm talking about the first time Gabrielle intercepts the ball from the cross. That's what I'm talking about. You know, when the cross comes in, Gabrielle's the first one to get to the cross. It should have been out for a corner at that point. That's all I'm saying.
All I'm saying is, why do we have a player in the net?
See, no, they're absolutely not down to 90%. Says Spencer is surprised Tony hasn't asked Ray to use a token. I don't issue any tokens on this wrong podcast. It's not that kind of show over here. I know what you're doing over there. I know what you're doing over there on the Fool Nelson.
We don't have
Okay.
female
Oh, I get it.
wrestlers.
Okay, I get. Okay, so I get it now. So you're saying that when he went to clear it and
First
he kicked it
cross.
off Zinchenko,
Yes.
that was on him. That was
Yeah,
his fault.
he got to the ball.
He's trying to clear it out, so he's trying to kick it with his left foot out of bounds, and Zinchenko was in the way.
Gary, he's the
You
first.
You said he's supposed to try to clear the ball out of bounds.
Yes.
If Zinchenko isn't standing where he was, it goes out of bounds.
You
Zinchenko's
could get
standing.
he wasn't his body was
You
not
can't
positioned
see
correctly.
him. Oh
His
my
body's
gosh!
not.
You are kidding me, right? You are kidding me.
No, a cross comes in, you deal with the cross.
He did
Not-
deal with it. He hit his own
Nothing
player
happens.
because I'm going to show you a picture. Here we go. You'll see where Zinchenko is. He's like 5 feet away from him. He can't see him at that point.
I'm not talking
Oh
about
my-
Zinchenko. If you said
You know,
Gabriel,
Zinchenko is the player that the ball deflects off of.
yes.
Oh my gosh,
But
Ray!
why do you hit it off Zinchenko if you have
He's
more
trying
control?
to clear it away
Yes.
from the oncoming defender.
Would you say he
why
did
is
a good
Zinchenko
job?
2 feet away from him?
Would you say
an
he did a
attack?
good job of clearing it?
He
Gary?
did the best he could. Yeah, he did
No.
the best he could in that situation.
Well, it's not good enough, was it?
But his
My
teammates
parents
screwed him up.
my parents need counseling.
Oh my gosh, Tony, you're terrible.
Like
Look,
I said on Ryan's watch along, we
you
have
can see it. You'll see it now. Take a look at the
Yeah.
picture now.
Yeah. All right. So what are we looking at here?
You're
What
complaining.
are we doing?
All right,
Zabuda
Gary.
in this thing? What are
Gary,
we doing there?
There's 90% of everywhere else he could have cleared it, but he clears it against Zinchenko or he clears
Where
it
else does he have to go with it? Where else is he going to clear that ball?
anywhere.
How? Look where he's. Look, he had the best place to clear it is off to his left, off to his right,
And he didn't get it out of bounds.
because his player was standing right on top
But
of
he
him.
didn't get it out of bounds.
That's not on him. That's Zinchenko.
It is on him. If the ball comes to you, Gary, and you don't deal with the ball, I'm blaming you.
Why is his player playing him? His player should be playing like there's
Sure.
nobody in. Why is he running next to him? He should have turned around to get the offensive player who's coming into the box.
Because he's not a defender.
Oh,
You
now
know?
no, so it's his fault now.
So
The-
look
it's
at where
Gabriel's fault.
look where the attacker at. Where else is he to? He's not a
he's
kick
not.
in that direction.
He's kicking it with his left foot, Ray. He's not going to clear it anywhere else but where he did. You're asking too much.
I am asking for my defender to put the ball out of play, and
He
he didn't
can't
do it.
when his own other defender is playing on him, is right on top of him.
Well,
Gray,
that was my first thought 5 minutes ago. Why is Zinchenko there? But
No,
you
no, no.
told me
That is the right thought
you
because why?
told me you told me it didn't rebound off Zinchenko, so I'm not blaming
No,
Zinchenko.
no. We were talking about a totally different play, and now I showed you the
Yeah.
play you were talking about,
The
which was early. Yeah.
first time that cross comes in from the left, Gary.
Mm.
Gabriel's the first player to get something on it. He didn't
Yeah,
get
and
enough.
Zinchenko's the one that basically taps the ball to Bowen.
We upset Tony. We upset the kid. He's gone. Gary, Declan, let's get out of defense then. We think
You're not going to
differently
win
on
this
that
one.
goal. In the chat box, let me know who wins this argument. Is it Ray?
On the first clearance, he thinks Gabriel didn't clear it,
He didn't do a good enough job clearing it.
and he couldn't clear it because his own player was playing right
So
on top.
Who are you blaming for the goal? I'm blaming Gabriel.
The goal happened long before that when we broke down on and we got to the point where they were bringing that ball in because
Gary, you've got three. It's either Zinchenko you're blaming, it's Raya.
No, the
or
ball
it's
comes off of
Gabriel.
that. The ball comes off of that left-hand side when we break down.
All right, but who are you blaming for the goal? You're gonna apportion blame to one person.
I think it's on the left. On the
Spencer.
let's see.
Is it Gabby or Zinni?
It happens. No, the play happens well before that. The reason why they're in that kind of situation at that point is that it happens even before the cross comes in. It happens well before that, which puts that ball in that situation.
You can't blame VAR.
Yeah,
Spencer. Pick a player. Pick a human being. Gary, who are you blaming? Zinchenko?
Zinchenko has to get out. I don't know what he's doing. He's defending his own player.
I don't know what he's doing either. I mean, I think he spent the whole game not knowing what he was doing himself.
He's the one that keeps that ball in play. I mean, it almost becomes an own goal. If he could have been an own goal easy, and we would have said what it was Gabriel trying to clear the ball,
he's too close. Look, he's too close to Gabriel. I will say that he's too close to Gabriel. So if Gabriel doesn't get the right touch, which he doesn't, then it's rebounding off of Zinchenko to a dangerous, the goal.
Like Zinchenko doesn't even know where he is on the pitch. He has to. There is not one blue shirt in front of him because he's so close to the goal line. He needs to turn around and look for somebody.
Even before the goal, he makes what I would call a forwards tackle. What Paul Scholes used to do down through the years, giving away a free kick on the right hand side. Let's get out of the fence and talk about Declan Rice, Gary. Which I didn't think Declan Rice had a great game, but I think he may have been asked to play very deep in this game.
He was playing deep. He was the deepest player in that midfield.
We were doing something where Zinchenko was being released and Declan Rice was
deeper than Zinchenko. So I didn't notice it, but like when you say it, he wasn't as involved, and that's why when he did take the shot, I was like, wow, he got a shot off because.
Why would we not push Rice further forward? Were we afraid of the pace of Bowen and Kudos? Maybe we feared that a little bit. The weapons that James Ward-Prowse is a good player, but he didn't really affect the game either.
Based on what we did stats wise, they didn't get much. And so if that's what your plan was, you did a good job there. But a couple of situations came up, and we shouldn't get punished on a set piece. We did.
And look, their midfield looked better than ours. At the end of the day, you have to say Alvarez and Souček and James Ward-Prowse played well.
Yeah, I mean, when you lose Paquetá, imagine if Paquetá actually played.
Yeah.
For the entire game, we may have lost by even more because he's better, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like we were playing with really good players. I mean, those 6 players playing in the midfield and the front line are good players for us, right? So that has to work. Right?
Arteta would have told them this is a really good team. This West Ham team is good, but we did all the scouting we needed.
But we are just as good.
Yeah, we are.
So it shouldn't have been a case where we got no goals and they got
Yeah,
2.
yeah. Tony, your thoughts on Declan Rice? We think he was pretty deep in this game when he could have been further forward.
That's why we bought him for. But
That's why we bought him.
yep.
Okay. I just feel like we when you needed a knife, you took like a chainsaw.
No, but he is not a player that's going to put you in those offensive positions. That's not what he does.
I I think you pay 105 million
Not
to get
no,
more out of a player
he's
than that.
not that. He is. You're comparing him to what you got from Partey, and he's not that player. So why do we keep asking him to play something he's not?
He
He is playing as a $105 million
Gary, he's
player.
already
in the midfield.
contributed. He's already scored some vital goals for us.
Yes, but not in these type of situations where you have 75% possession.
I don't know.
At 75 possessions, you need to be creative. He is not that player.
Right. When you have 30 shots, does him being off an offense
Isn't
make any
I would
difference?
say he's as creative as Granit Xhaka.
That's not saying much because I want
I know.
him to be a Partey, and he's not there. So you're
listen. He's different. He's different. Partey's not Rice, and Rice not Partey.
Everybody's wanted a defensive midfielder. That's what he is.
yeah.
Okay. Who's the other one? Let's go. Odegaard. Pretty poor.
I didn't like. I mean, I know Moss really was happy with him. I think I needed more from it. Like I needed more from him.
Yeah.
I needed more from him. He needed to get me more. Like he needed to make a pass that was a lot easier for us to score from. Or he didn't like he couldn't make those loose passes that he was making late in the game. Or he needed to score, and we got none of that. So he may have put passes into players, but I have no doubt that none of those passes were like if I look at his stats right now, let's see. How many chances did he create? Let's look here. He created one big chance according to the stats. He's got to be doing more than that for me.
Do we need him to be more direct, Gary? Less shimmying, less spinning, less.
Yes. Like that's the
more
problem.
Direct.
Every time we do all that extra nonsense, we just make the defense easier to buckle down and close us out of attacks. So for me, he needs to do more.
He did all that last year.
Odegaard, yeah, he's way behind on what he did last year. Last year, 22 goal involvements. This year, only 7. He's 1/3 where he was last season at the halfway point. So he would need to be adding about 4 or 5 more contributions to be on pace to what he did last season. And we just haven't seen it.
Yeah.
A couple of those are penalties as well. A couple of those goals are penalties. At least one that I remember. So
according to the stats, he had the most possession lost.
Shit.
So like he had 25. So for me, like he needs to be a lot cleaner. That's what I was saying the whole time. I felt like he was losing the ball more. He might have been creating more in terms of getting the passes in the situations, but none of them. Only one of them, according to SofaScore, was a big chance, and he needs to do more than that. Like we always talk about Arsenal having to create more. He's supposed to be the leader in that.
Trossard, Tony.
Not good enough.
No, not good enough. I don't feel like he had much effect on the game. He had that one vital chance in the 71st minute, 73rd minute, saved by the goalkeeper. Probably being used in the wrong position, although he's played a lot of midfield for Brighton. We talked about this before. Maybe on the left wing or centrally as a false 9. He's going to be a better player. Gary?
Yeah, no, not that good, but I mean, like I said, also I feel like him playing with Martinelli, I don't know if it actually requires it, but they need if it were warranted, maybe they switch things around a little bit. And
do they work together? Do they work together on the field? Doesn't look like it.
According to the way the stats and the way that they play, didn't seem so good on that left hand side.
No.
Not so much. So for me, that they never worked on that in practice. Once again, they had more time to get things right. They knew Trossard, Havertz wasn't going to play. So
Yep.
for me, what did
Well,
what did they practice? I know they may not have practiced on Christmas, but they had more than enough
they
time to
used
figure
to
out how to play.
say they used to say Aubameyang and Martinelli together did not work. They used to say that a few years ago.
So it worked in practice, and that's why you know what I mean. Like for me, those types of situations, when you see it on the pitch, did you actually try to work on it in practice, and did it work in practice? And you're not able to
I just think
replicate that.
I feel like they're similar players and they take up similar positions on the field.
But
And
you work on these things. These are things you do in practice, right? If you see that situation on the pitch, don't you go, I think I'm going to have to, you guys are going to have to adjust what you're doing on the pitch, right?
Zinchenko needs to go, says Alonso. Listen, Alonso, you got about 5 or 10 more minutes if you want to make a quick cameo.
Right.
Yes.
Last year we overloaded the left. That was our strong side.
Yeah.
You take out one mediocre midfielder, you got better options out there, but you don't figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, you speak the truth. You take out Granit Xhaka, whatever you feel about him, and you put in what on paper seems like a better player, two better players, and it doesn't look the same. Like Havertz and Rice looks different to Partey and Xhaka.
But Ray, don't you think? I think I'm convinced of it that Zinchenko should be the left 8.
Yes, yes. But Alonso's saying Zinchenko's not a number 8. Where do you play him then? If you don't
He
play him
was
in
the
the 8.
number 8. He was the guy storming up there, giving it to Xhaka, since
I don't.
Xhaka was the furthest guy up there.
Zinchenko's been put in some difficult positions. He's just not a player who can tackle, who can defend, and we're asking him to play left back.
Well, you know what? I tell you, I don't care because we know he
We
can't
know you
defend.
care. We know you
We know
care.
he can't defend. So I'm not. We keep going
Yeah.
back to that.
He's a
But
wing back. He
but
doesn't
he
need to
but
defend.
but tell me the other things that you are doing are working. I get it. It's almost like saying Trent Alexander-Arnold. He's not a good defender, but he does make a difference somewhere else on the pitch, right, offensively for them.
Right.
What does Zinchenko do on the offensive side that you go, yes, he needs to be on the pitch?
He was the guy that was getting the ball there all last
To
season.
what? To what effect does it work?
Getting you goals. What do you think it was
We
doing?
scored. Did we score today? Did we have better chances to
You
score
said,
today
what
because
were
of
we
Zinchenko's
doing?
play?
You said,
No,
what
but
were we doing
what I'm
back
saying
there?
is it should lead to better chances to score.
Yeah. Look.
I looked at the 30 shots that I looked at every game, the whole game, right? Suppose we took 30 shots. I can count on my hand probably the amount of times I thought maybe we might have scored. And I think on 2 or 3 occasions, can I say that was a good attempt?
Yeah. Probably 2 in each half.
Probably not that many
No.
good opportunities where
No.
you went, that was a good strike.
Wasn't clear-cut chances. And then you're thinking back to last year's game where you go your goal down at halftime last year, and we come out in the second half and score 3 on them. And we have Declan Rice in our team. They don't have Declan Rice, but they've bought Alvarez, they've bought Kudos, and they bought James Ward-Prowse. Good players. They spent 105 million pretty well, you have to say.
I mean, this isn't Magic the Gathering. You get your box of cards. You know what you have. You can line up 3 guys as center back because Zinchenko is not a left back. He's a left winger, wing back, whatever you want to call him.
Mm-hmm. I think the To Stephen's comment here, Ray, you cannot compare Xhaka and last season today to today. We are not playing the same style as last season. It's completely different. I'm just relating a Zinchenko and a Martinelli. They're not having good seasons based on the fact that there's no Xhaka there. And that's the only reason I can find. They're not having good seasons based on the fact that Granit Xhaka is not there. Martinelli is suffering and Zinchenko
We
is
haven't had
suffering.
a consistent 8 when it's been
Yeah.
switched.
So we have not solved the vacancy of Granit Xhaka yet.
Who's our left 8, right?
I can't tell you who it is. It's Havertz when he's fit and available, when he's not suspended.
You don't think it's to
It's
be
Kai.
Zinchenko?
No, it's Kai Havertz, and that's what we're going to persist with, I believe,
But
I have to hope.
Shouldn't he be the false 9 since he can actually?
Yeah, I
shoot the
I
ball?
would put Gabriel Jesus for me is inconsistent. He won't score as much as you want him to, as much as we need to. We're in a title race, and I can't say that Jesus and Nketiah are going to get us the goals. We're relying on Martinelli and Saka to do that. My only hope is that we switch to a Kivior and give him some more minutes so Zinchenko's not exposed as much, in my
So when
opinion.
you got Martinelli struggling, why don't you just put Jesus over there? Then you put Kai
I know,
there,
and I think we're
there in the middle.
Tony. I think we're getting very close to that point because Granit Xhaka, not Mikel Arteta, has had to field some of those questions from the press conference. What are you going to do with Martinelli? What do you need to do with Martinelli? No, we just keep going. You just need some confidence, right? And those are the kind of things he was saying. Now we tried to be patient with Martinelli, and look, we may go to Fulham and we may win on Sunday, but then we have a huge game in the FA Cup on the 7th of January, which is next weekend, and then we have a 2-week break and we come back to some very winnable games, as Gary outlined. Crystal Palace. Going to Nottingham Forest won't be easy, but it's a game we should win. So we're going to have to start stockpiling some wins together. And I thought tonight would be one of those wins that we would be talking about. But it's alarm bells for me. It's not jingle bells. It's alarm bells.
Would you sell him to get Tony?
Sell who?
Martinelli, the only player that's going to get you the amount of money.
That would be a real tough one for the fan base, right? Do you think something like that could happen, Gary?
I think if you did that, it means you failed as a coach. If you think selling Martinelli you selling Martinelli and then bringing in, I think
out of form Martinelli,
that would be a poor. No, but he's a young player. I don't think
he's had one good season, right?
He's a young player. Let's try that again.
I'll try that angle again as well.
I think
he had 2 good seasons. He was good his first season, right?
Yeah, I think he's a young player and he needs to have answers, right? So I think.
So Gary wins. I'm on the second.
No. I just feel like I think a talent like Martinelli being sold too soon would be really poor. That means you're not doing a good job. If you feel like that's a good.
Has he fulfilled his potential?
No. Has Saka fulfilled his? No. Has Martin Odegaard fulfilled his? No. Has Rice fulfilled his? No. Saliba? No. Gabriel? No. I mean, none of them fulfilled. Like they still have the opportunities to fulfill what they're going to do.
You just said Saka is putting up the same numbers as last season.
I'm saying Saka has a lot of stuff to prove. He's still got a lot of way to go, and he is not dipped in form from last season. And I expect him to improve, so he should be ahead. But he's not as bad as like the drop off isn't the same.
I remember we had Emile Smith-Rowe, Martinelli conversations, and now Martinelli's ahead of Emile Smith-Rowe.
Yeah. I think when you're dealing with young players, you're going to get this type of thing. I don't think it's a surprise, right?
Do you see Martinelli getting 10 goals
I can
this
see him
season.
getting 10 goals. Yeah,
He's got 2 right now. Do
I
you think
think.
he can get 10?
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
All right. For this thing to work,
We create 30 goals in every other game. I think we'll have opportunities for people to
how
score goals.
many? So, Gary, you said something or posted something earlier. How many goals do we have? 30 right now in the league? You said we're on pace for 60, right? Not 80.
I was saying, let's see, how many goals do we have? We have 36 right now.
Okay, so we're on pace for 70.
Yeah. I
Right
was just
now.
looking at a compilation of Odegaard today, and he
Yeah.
actually is better than I thought. Like in terms of the positives that he did.
This season.
No, in this game today,
Yeah.
he should have had players should have taken some shots.
He got
Saka had 2 opportunities to score, didn't on both of them.
he probably had the most touches, Gary.
He created a lot, but like the big chances, he only had the one. I think that was the Saka one, but he did create a lot of chances. But I think a lot of like for me, the one thing I see from him all the time, it probably doesn't matter, but he always takes a step back and lets the defender get in front of him, kind of thing. Like he never presses the ball up the pitch. But
isn't that a problem
he
with the whole team? You
yeah.
just
Yes.
sit there and you
Yes.
don't do things from instinct. It should
Yep.
be instinct. You shouldn't be
Yeah.
thinking. The ball gets there, you kick it, it goes in the back of a net, and everybody's
Well,
happy.
no,
Yep.
what he's doing is creating, right? So at the point he's creating really well. He's got the ball at his feet. He made a pass behind, a little back a pass with his left foot to Saka for the one goal, the
Yeah,
shot
the
that he took
Cruyff.
that
Yeah.
the goalkeeper just caught easily. Then he made the other pass with the right foot, which went to Saka, which Saka hit on the crossbar and on the post.
The
So
upright, yeah.
he did a lot there. We're not helping him out. But like I said, at some point he's just going to
Saka's
have to.
finishing, man.
If that's KDB, if KDB's doing all that creating, and guess what they're doing with it? They're wasteful. At some point, KDB will take the shot.
Mm.
He needs. That's kind of what I need him to say.
Yeah.
I'll show you how to score from my pass, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because you're not doing it. Like
If
he's the captain. If he's the captain for this team, and he's putting these balls in certain situations, he should be screaming at them to take the shot.
Yeah.
He's not
If-
doing that either. So for me, he's not already doing his job, which is to lead the squad and say, "Look, we're creating a lot. I'm creating like he should be able to say in that interview today, we created a lot of chances, meaning I created a lot of chances because he did.
Mm.
We just got to be better. And at
Yeah.
some point, he needs to be part of that equation where he's also the one creating a chance for himself because he's really good with the ball at his feet
Yeah.
and is taking the damn shot.
At Arsenal, you got Saka, Odegaard. At City, you've got Haaland and Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah.
And maybe at Liverpool, you got Nunez and Salah. Those are the duos at each team.
Mm-hmm.
Saka's, like you said, Gary, Saka's on pace for this season to have one like last season.
Mm-hmm.
Martinelli's way behind. He's only got 4
Mm-hmm.
goal contributions when he had 20 last season.
Mm-hmm.
So he needs another 6 or so. Odegaard needs another 4 or 5 to be on pace. And Jesus only on 26 games. He's at the halfway stage right now. He had 26 games last season and 13 this, but 17 versus 4, so Jesus needs to be another 3 or 4 as well ahead. Mr. Tom has rated the panelists. Gary gets the top spot. I get second, being only good, and Tony was all right. I think you should rate Tony a little bit higher than that, though. They're not having good seasons because they're not being allowed to play to their strengths. Martinelli's speed and Zinchenko's medium to long passing are not being used.
That's what I said earlier. No creativity at all.
We are suffering.
Micromanage.
We are suffering through our own control a little bit, I believe. If you want to open it up a little bit, you're going to lose. You're probably going to lose a few more goals, but you're going to score a hell of a lot more as well. So Arteta is probably having a very sleepless night right now. He should be anyway.
But what
4
did
o'clock in
we
the
do
morning.
last year? We just stormed from the left side.
Yeah. We were cutting teams apart, but maybe teams were not aware of what we could do to them last season. The surprise element. With the style we played, there is no reason for Zinchenko to be on the pitch. He looked lost. He looked a little bit lost in that one.
And if we have to
In
depend
this
on him
game.
to play defense, then yes, he shouldn't be on the pitch.
Tony slaps me around when no one's watching. This whatever you two get up in the privacy of your own Zoom meetings. It's between the two
Look
of you.
at Tony smiling like, yeah, I slapped that man around. That's what that smile said right there. I can see it. Look at it. Look at the smile. It's like, yeah, I slapped that wee man around.
Slapped the wing man around. He's done that too, Gary. All right, so where do we go from here, Gary? Sunday, right?
Yeah, so Sunday we're playing Fulham. It's for me to feel any good way. We have to score 3 goals. They get none. I don't care where it is. I don't care how we're playing. We need to respond like in kind. We need to respond like we have. We have to like we need to show that we are better than what we're playing right now.
Yeah.
So whatever they do for the next couple of days, it needs to be working on those things. Like
Oh,
defensively, we need to be a little bit sounder. I think defensively we're fine today. The first goal, yeah.
Downgraded like a storm from great.
I'm not the one that slapped you.
So what do we have? Like a bunch of dead missiles because you have this salvo.
Alonso has made it.
Yeah, you have this salvo of shots and just nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing gets in.
Hey, Alonso.
Yeah. No. I like I said. I think, like for me, we don't score 3 goals, then I don't think we're there yet. At some point, we're gonna have to score goals against teams that are lower than us on the table.
So
Fulham is much
They're all
lower
lower than us.
I have a question for
So
you.
we should be
Gary.
scoring goals.
yeah.
We should be scoring goals on pretty much everybody we play.
Yeah,
Gary.
we should be.
Okay, so what's this deal I heard about Tony this whole Martinelli?
he suggested he suggested to sell Martinelli in order to fund.
Why would you give up on why would you want to give up on Martinelli so quickly, Tony? Tony, I'm
I
asking you
want to know what
questions.
rating system Tom is using.
Do you want to win a Premier League or not?
I want to show Zinchenko so then we can win a Premier League.
Zinchenko's not a problem. It's
Yeah, he is.
Alonso said no words and was a top panelist.
What were you saying about Zinchenko this time last year, Ray?
We all start from 0, Gary, and go down from 0.
Okay, right. So he made a mistake against Wolves, right? He made a mistake against Villa. He made a mistake against Liverpool. Now he makes two mistakes against West Ham.
He's not a left back.
Tonight,
he's not a left back.
Well, he's playing left back now, Tony. So
that's the coach's fault. It's not his fault.
All right, Alonso.
Yeah.
We're going to get out of here soon. But I don't think you've seen the game, right?
I just heard about it. Like my the guy I work with, he
is a fan, right?
Yeah, he's a sushi guy, so he gives me updates.
He handles fish. Come on, don't take him seriously.
Yeah, well,
he plays with fish for a living.
I thought he was joking around, right? I'm like, sushi score, I'm like, great. I mean, guess Zinchenko caused that problem. He goes, yeah. Well, there you go.
Yes. Yeah, all of our goals, we don't concede many goals, but when we do, Zinchenko's involved.
And you know, I used to so hard on Megalegs because, you know, it's like, man, now the problem is Zinchenko.
Him again. Zinchenko gets slapped in the dressing room. Come on, you talking about Tony slapping Tom? Gabriel slapping Zinchenko in the dressing room after every game.
But that's the only time he's had a partner that just disappears on him. You get these left backs that aren't left backs; they're wing backs.
Gabriel is like, "You're not the partner I want."
But it changed last year because
Might be the hero I need, but you're not the partner I want.
when your left back was up the pitch, you used to have somebody that came back. You didn't have that last year.
Granit Xhaka.
You don't have that now.
Yeah.
You haven't had that for 2
Are you
seasons.
Tony? Are you missing Granit Xhaka? He was at the stadium today.
I am not missing Granit Xhaka one bit.
All right, Tony.
I am.
Where do we go from here, Tony? Obviously, Fulham, and then Liverpool to finish this segment out before winter break.
We need the winter break.
He still sees Tony when he closes his eyes at night. That's because
That's
you're like, when you look at Tony and you blink 30 times and then keep your eyes closed, you see Tony's.
You just see this big smiling face.
I'm sorry, I'm going to say this to your face, Tony, but that's scary. I'm sorry.
We need a Tony bobblehead.
If I close my eyes and I see you, it scares me. I'm sorry.
I was going to ask Gary a question, and now I'll ask it.
We need to get Tony on a stick.
I'm a watch alongs.
Lollipops.
I'm a watch alongs, Gary. You used to say shoot, but what are you saying now when we're shooting at 30 fucking times a game?
Score.
I'm saying I can't. You know what? I wouldn't even call them shots though, because they dribble to the goalkeeper's like they're not like. I tell you this all the time, right? You got to stay in the goalkeeper's hands when you take a shot in this game, and we're not doing that. We're so off on our shots that the goalkeepers he's easily covering them up, or they get blocked. Like, I mean, a third of our shots were blocked today because we wait for them to get into defensive positioning because we take an extra touch and all they do is close us down. So, we want to shoot one. Now my phrase is one time. Take the shot one time and just not get an extra touch. Too many extra touches.
But what do you do to get the speed that we need and the tempo?
You take the shot the first time. You don't wait for the defense to get into position. You see it all the time. Sometimes a shot isn't that powerful, but you have the defense moving and the goalkeeper is leaning the wrong way, or by the time he reacts to it, it's too late. But when you take an extra touch, things shift around in front of the goalkeeper and he gets in a position. And guess what? They open it up to the goalkeeper, and that's where our ball goes every time. Whereas if you take it before the defense gets settled, who knows?
I just don't know what's happened to our long balls and through balls that we finally discovered.
Once you get close to the 18, you got to shoot, and we don't even do that. I think Rice took one shot from outside the 18 today. They had 7 and 8 guys in the box. You can't wait sometimes to take the shot or dribble in. We would dribble into the box with those number of defenders.
Yeah. Not good. Right now, our whole season rests on Arteta's ego and whether he can admit that he has overreacted to last season. If he doesn't change back, then we will win nothing. Listen, if the porridge was too hot last season, now it's too cold, I think you should come somewhere in between, and maybe we'll see.
It was just right last season. You don't score 80 goals and
it
go.
It wasn't just right because we conceded a lot of goals.
We scored 80 goals. So, and the problem we have right now is we are not scoring. So the problem isn't our defense, which has gotten better. Our problem is our defense has gotten worse.
Well, look, we scored 88.
Gotten worse.
Gary, we scored 88 goals, but we conceded 43, and that's too many.
Right now, I'm saying offense is terrible. Okay, it's not good. It's not good.
We're 36 for the halfway point.
It's not good. It's not good, Ray.
But we're also what are we now? 17.
It's not good
for the halfway point in terms of conceded goals.
Ray, it's not good. Our offense is terrible.
Okay.
We had 77 touches in a game, the most in Premier League history since 2008. We got no goals. That is not good.
Is 30
shots, 75% possession. What more do you want in a game for an offensive attack?
Is a lot of that down to?
All right, dude, turn it off.
So people are going to send Alonso random text now just to hear that
No, it's Fox Sports.
notifications.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna get out of here.
Ugh.
Tony, Alonso, Gary, anything to say before we depart? Well, I dropped a backstage pass for anyone
All right.
who is really up late at night and can't sleep. Mikel Arteta, if you cannot sleep right now, come on in, take that backstage pass.
And
We'll have a little
in
chat
an
about
hour,
what you're doing.
hour and 40 minutes, I become a gremlin. I become Gizmo. No water, no food.
I mean, not Spike.
You do.
Yep. For my 2 to 5 hour surgery tomorrow. Yay!
Missed. Oh, you got a 5 hour surgery tomorrow. Well, good luck with that, Tony.
Yeah, the funny bone. Ain't very funny.
Tom, good night. Get some sleep. Thank you for being here with us.
See you, Tom.
We do appreciate that. Alonso, anything?
Yeah, I've been thinking about doing something kind of different. I'm thinking about doing a NASCAR podcast, but it's just
What does that have to do with Arsenal?
well, Gary. I mean, it's my turn to
We had
talk
the
He's
full
now.
promoting
Nelson, don't
himself.
we?
The man asks you what about Arsenal. You tell him.
Hey,
Right,
that's not
okay.
what he said. He said, "Did he have anything to say?"
Yeah.
That's what Alonso had to say.
So for me, though I didn't see the game, I kind
My
of
fault.
think that this is kind of a letdown, especially during the festive period. They should have played harder than what they came out today. It's kind of discouraging, really. And that's kind of just telling what we need to get in the transfer market. Hopefully, it's someone that we could depend on to score goals and a left back that won't mess up in key moments. Other than that, I'm quite confident we could do a job at Fulham. Is it at Fulham or is it at Emirates?
Fulham. It's at
Okay.
Fulham.
So it's not a derby game. Everton Fulham need to win, so it's gonna be a tough game at the cottage. So of course I'm working that day too, so I'm gonna miss it. But hopefully Arsenal can bounce back and they can work on their mistakes and make it right again. So we'll see what happens.
All right, we'll see what happens. Until then, we'll be back on Sunday. It'll be New Year's Eve. So I didn't feel like conducting a kind of a party today because we didn't get the result we wanted.
They haven't scored in their last 3 Premier League games.
Fulham haven't, but they beat West Ham a few games back. 5-0.
So you're saying we should lose to them then?
I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying that at all. All right, we're out of here. Gary, thanks for joining. I thought it was going to be Ray on the lonely road, David Banner, hitchhiker style, the Incredible Hulk. But
I didn't get all of that stuff.
did you ever see the Incredible Hulk growing up, Gary?
I saw it, but I don't know what that has to do with you being lonely.
That's sad music.
Oh, okay.
Did you ever get angry, Gary, where your eyes start going green? And the music.
No.
Tony, did you ever get angry where your eyes go green and you start getting like your shirt bursts on your biceps?
No. I just have bursting biceps. My problem.
Alonso, did you ever get angry?
On top of this whole thing, we didn't even get to enjoy that team losing today. That's how bad it went.
Hey, we can't, banter rules say you can't talk about them if you don't get the result yourself. It's kind of isn't fair to do that. Ange Ball continues to concede more than they score. High scoring games, you know what I mean?
It's kind of like nobody wants to be fourth.
Yeah, Aston Villa don't want it. That team doesn't want it. You know what I mean? What team is that team? If you know, you know, Tom. If you know, you know. And I believe you know. All right. Alonso, take care. Have a great weekend, everybody. Tom, everybody in the chat box. Stephen,
Tom.
Gary, Tom. See, 2 Toms are in there. You didn't know that?
I think it's somebody was saying that by the time we play on Sunday, we could be in 4th place.
Alonso's also in there too.
Shit. Well, Liverpool don't play till Monday, so that's comforting, at
Well,
least.
no, but we
right?
could be in fourth place by then.
Okay, and listen, I got to throw this up here as well, Gary. You've dropped down a little bit in the ranking.
Yeah, I've gotten a really bad streak.
The upset picks. You've dropped down. Tony, you're really doing bad at this.
I'm not doing nothing.
Hey,
Pick
dude,
FC.
it's a terrible.
Do you know where I was at this point last season, Ray?
Now you're gonna give us an excuse. You were in the hospital, not being able to breathe.
I was on 93 points.
Oh, me and Ray almost tied.
Yeah, we're almost tied. Both of us jumped over Gary this weekend.
How
Alonso.
many points are you on, Ray?
Huh?
How many points are you on?
Me?
Yeah.
48.5.
That's 55 points behind where I
Where
was
you
at
were.
this point last season.
I don't
Hey,
know
I
what
was in
you're
last
talking
place
about.
too, man.
Yeah. And look,
Okay.
Sam,
I don't recall you winning last season. Who won last season?
it
Not
was,
you, Tony.
no, it was-
Somebody forfeited.
I don't remember anybody forfeiting. You just didn't.
Who won? You won it, Gary, right?
You're damn right I did.
Yes.
How many
Yes.
points did you get, Gary?
More than you.
How many points did you get, Gary?
More
I
than
know
you.
know.
I thought it didn't matter if it was 1 or 100. I still.
True. Greenwood is doing really well, to be fair to him. But
Are you that documenting points, Ray? Because
He-
this whole
He
this
didn't.
whole
He didn't put his
shit
picks.
started
He
because
didn't
he
of
didn't
He
get his
Sam.
picks in this
He
week.
didn't, he didn't get his picks in this week.
Yeah.
This whole thing started because of Sam.
What do you mean? What whole thing started?
This whole thing started with Sam
Flip this.
because you let fucking Sam pick Arsenal and gain 19 points the first game of 2 seasons ago, which should have never happened. And I made an ordeal about it, and you didn't change anything. Then you come up with these unwritten rules that
Gary,
I
does
tell you
that
in
make any
person.
sense?
No, it does not.
I tell you Aston Villa, and
That
you don't
tracks.
give me Aston Villa points.
We talked about it multiple times, Tony. Whether you chose to listen to what we were saying is one thing. It was no surprise that you needed to do better and get your picks in sooner.
It
Definitely.
doesn't matter when you get them in.
I am not in charge of this thing. The person that is made
it's
a
me,
decision that
unfortunately.
things needed to be changed.
Ray did not tell me any of that. So
Oh,
They sure did.
You are
No,
a liar.
no.
You are lying right now
Ray did not tell
on
me
live
any of
TV.
that.
You are
Nope.
Hey,
lying.
we're close to 3 hours here. We should wrap this up. But
Ray, did you send me a message? Did you? Nope.
about what?
The rule changes for
I think I
Buffett,
might have. Yeah, I think I might have. But you're asking
No,
me to
no,
think
you
back
did not.
3 months ago,
Uh-oh.
or
No,
you were
you
told
didn't.
verbally, but you
I
were
wasn't told
informed.
verbally either.
You
Sure.
were. Everybody was getting their picks in on time. Why would you be the only one not?
Stan
Here,
Stan
here's
made
that message.
Stan made a big move this week. He got 10 points.
Oh, can we talk about Stan? Let's talk about hypocrisy, right?
How's your hypocrisy?
You have Stan, John.
He didn't like you breaking the rules, so he
I
Oh,
didn't
look
didn't
at
want to
break
this.
be
the
part of it.
rules
Tony defended Stan for a similar thing in the wrestling game.
because it was the rule.
When
Tom
Stan didn't
changed the
when
rule.
Stan didn't get his picks changes in, guess what? He had to stay with it.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to follow the rules, Tony. The rules apply for everyone.
Rules apply for everyone. Yes, indeed, Tony. But
Not when you don't know the rules.
No. When you choose not to listen to the rules,
I haven't been on the shows, Gary, and I was not getting messages. So
how many times did we say did Tony get his picks in?
many times.
Many times.
Yeah, many. Too many to count on these two hands. All right, we're gonna be out of here. Let's go. Let's get it, Tony.
it's not my
nice
fault
tree.
you guys aren't good at
Oh
picking.
my God.
I like your tree in the background, Tony. All right, Gary, thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Alonso, thanks for dropping in. And
You got
Tony,
it.
we love to see you, Tony. We love you. We'll see you Sunday, Tony. Take care. Yes, that's right. We cut off whatever Tony was saying.